The Mason City Riverhawks and the Algona Bulldogs will get to tip-off of this matchup coming up after this on Hometown Radio KLGA and the AHS Broadcasting YouTube live stream.
High school sports on Hometown Home Country Radio. Brought to you by these sports club members.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce, 2 sauces for all seasons.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
Daylight Donuts, open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
Dump It, Kossuth County's local and reliable waste service provider for commercial and residential customers.
Albert Electric, flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Erpelding Excavating Enterprises. Let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
Fairway, everything's easier, fresher, and faster with Algona Fairway.
All bringing you this game.
Some of the most significant power outages in recent years have been caused by extreme cold weather and severe storms. Whether it's snow, ice, or extreme wind, don't be Our top-of-the-line Generac or Cummins generators will automatically power your home in the event of a power loss. Already have a standby generator? Call us today to get on our preventative maintenance list to ensure your machine is running at
Club members.
Greg Penning and Company, certified public accountants, where everyone counts.
Holmes Animal Clinic. Animals large and small, they love them all.
Hy-Vee, use the Fuel Saver card. Fill your cart, fuel your car.
J&J Custom Meats, continuing the traditions in Whittemore.
Kossuth Regional Health Center, your home for healthcare.
Lichter's Garage Door Service, a reputation you can trust.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Engineered Farm Drainage, specializing in drainage tile solutions. Visit them on Facebook or engineeredfarmdrainage.com.
All sponsors of this game broadcast. When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
Hey Bulldog fans, this is Bella Jo Dunning. You're listening to Algona Girls Basketball on KLGA.
And for the first time in this high school basketball season, we come to you live from Algona High School, where tonight the Algona Bulldogs take on the Mason City Riverhawks in a battle between two teams looking for their first win of the season here in this young 2025-2026 campaign. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Greg Stewart here for tonight's game. Mason City, a Class 4A team with an 0-2 record so far. They are down to our left wearing black uniforms. The red Mason City on the front outlined in white. White numerals front and back outlined in red. And it's the black uniforms, the red trim down the side of them. Algona has the home whites for tonight. The black Algona on the front, outlined in red, black numerals front and back, and the black trim down the sides of the uniforms and on the shoulders as well. Greg, the biggest thing you're looking for tonight here for Algona to pick up their first win?
Just a little more consistency. Continue that good effort they had in that opening game, but as Coach McLaughlin said, this time of the year, you're just looking for steady improvement, working on the little things, getting better and better each night out.
And it starts on the defensive end. Maya Lentz moving into the starting lineup for Algona at the jump circle alongside Braun. It's tapped backwards and it's taken by Algona's Van Otterloo as we're underway from Algona High School. Bulldogs moving right to left on the radio dial. Corner puck after Dunning. In and out on the first attempt. Deflected rebound and the put back up and good by Taylor Van Otterloo. It was off the hands of Braun and Van Otterloo was there for the cleanup.
That was a good reaction by Van Otterloo that time.
Now Algona goes on defense for the first time today. Mason City's had a tough time putting the ball in the hoop for their first two games, only averaging 30 points per game on 25% field goal shooting. Gonzalez out on the right wing, nowhere to go with the ball. Picks up her dribble of 17 on the shot clock, throws it behind Donald, who saved it from going over half court as she shoveled it off to Caldwell. Caldwell swarmed by white jerseys as she dribbles out of the pack towards the left, guarded by Van Otterloo, and hands it off to Latham. Latham spinning towards the right and then towards the left, out to Donald on the wing. Her free-point try is good, and Mason City goes up 3-2.
Played that shot clock all the way down to the end that time.
That's only Mason City's third three-point make of the year as Dunning loses control of the ball. It slips out of her hands and it goes into the bucket. She wasn't even trying to shoot it, but the ball went off her hands, off the backboard and in to make it 4-3 Algona.
She's still smiling at the other end.
She is laughing on the defensive end right now as she locks back in. Gonzalez down in the right corner for Mason City. Riverhawks were just 2 of 16 on three-point balls coming into tonight. Had one on their first possession, though, as Latham has it on the wing. And there's a foul inside. Offensive foul on Donald from Mason City. That's the first one called on either team so far tonight. It'll come with 6:40 on the clock, and Algona leading 4-3 as the Bulldogs take possession. Playing at a quick early tempo here their first couple possessions. Van Otterloo at the point right now. Moving across the Bulldog logo at midcourt. Finds Dunning high post. Underneath the spear. Great movement out the ball, but can't knock down the layup. And the rebound is squeezed by Caldwell, who goes down to the ground. And we are going to have a held ball here. Possession arrow towards Mason City. Well, early on tonight, Algona still scrapping after every rebound, every loose ball here for the first couple of possessions.
We've got some good shots here in the first 3 possessions as well.
And they'll set up here in their zone press against Mason City as they'll get it up ahead to Caldwell on the wing. Caldwell dribbling in front of the Bulldog student section, picks up a dribble, bounce pass to the baseline to Donald, intercepted by Dunning, who cut right in front of her. Donald, 5'9", the tallest player on the Riverhawk lineup on the floor right now as Dunning has it out on the wing right side, feeds it inside to Hayden McLaughlin, kicks it out, left wing Van Otterloo, as she'll pass up the 3, and then she shuffled the shoes right in front of the official.
Yep.
Yeah, a little bit of a lateral move there by Taylor Van Otterloo, trying to get some vision to get that ball back inside. As the score remains 4-3 Algona. Ball is inbounded to Gonzalez as she'll flip it up ahead, caught by Braun, and then Dunning jumped up and landed right on top of Braun. That'll be the first foul of the game on the Bulldogs as Braun quickly dusts herself off and gets to her feet. But that is the aggressive defense there, Bella-Jo Dunning. She is always playing at 100 miles per hour.
Well, I think it's a good idea for the Bulldogs to be putting a little pressure on the Riverhawks coming up the court because a young team, not a lot of experience. You want them to start playing a little fast, a little bit out of control.
And they have looked a little uneasy on offense as Latham rainbows a 3 that went halfway down, rebound deflected, and Dunning had the inside position that time as Donald went through her back to commit Mason City's second foul. And that'll also be Donald's second personal foul for the Riverhawks with 5:54 on the clock. Mason City will go to the bench for the first time tonight. Leah Dykstra, the 5'5" sophomore, comes in to replace Donald. So this is not a tall lineup right now for Mason City. No one above 5'7" on the floor here with their current 5. Now that Donald goes to the bench. Bulldogs have it up 4-3 right now. Hayden McLaughlin, who had 23 points against Forest City, rotates a corner to Lentz. Lentz 3 a bit too strong. And the box out on the rebound by Braun, but it's out of her hands and out of bounds. The greased pig slipped out of her hands there and went out along the baseline, painted in black there down to our left. As the Bulldogs will get essentially a free possession here. Kate Limbaugh into the game, as well as Gabby Van Tiger. Bella-Jo Dunning and Emma Spear to the bench. Ball inbounded to Hayden McLaughlin, and a ton of traffic trying to dribble through it, but she took that step first before putting the ball on the hardwood and called for the travel.
Yeah, just a irresistible gap there in the defense and tried to step through it, got the extra step and the travel.
Lentz on the press knocks the inbounds pass out of bounds as Mason City will reload and inbound from in front of their bench, which is down to our left. Riverhawks and the Bulldogs played last year, February 3rd, a 46-45 Bulldog win as they held on late in the fourth quarter. Latham dribbling of the ball, zings it over to the right wing. Here's a free ball by Braun, way off to the right, and ball ricochets into the hands of Hayden McLaughlin on the rebound. Van Otterloo up ahead to Lentz. The Bulldog junior looking inside, finds Limbaugh one-on-one. Big size advantage, but she missed on the layup as again it goes halfway down.
All right, Bulldogs get some good looks here, but just not going down right now.
Yeah, Limbaugh one-on-one of Braun. You'll take that all day if the Bulldogs did that look again. Free by Dykstra, too strong, and rebound vacuumed in by Taylor Van Otterloo. Van Otterloo out of the pack, outlets it up to Lentz, now into the right corner to Van Tiger. Inside to Hayden McLaughlin, makes a tough catch, and wrapping the arm around her was Latham, as Latham's called for Mason City's third foul with 5:59 on the clock. I make that 4:59.
Yeah, right now the Riverhawks very quick to settle for a three-point shot. They've taken nothing inside the arc so far.
Bulldogs will go for lineup change here. Van Otterloo and McLaughlin going to the bench. Spear back into the ball game. Dunning in as well.
Bulldogs been doing a good job getting inside.
Into Spear on the wing. Spear penetrating into the lane and gets it outside to Lentz. Lentz down the lane, leans in for a mid-ranger, bounces off to the right, no good, and parachuting in for the rebound is Latham, who outlets down the floor to Gonzalez. One-on-one of Dunning. Dunning erased the shot. It goes out of bounds, last touched by Algona, but a good one-on-one block in transition by the Bulldog junior. Still 4-3 Algona. Again, some good looks here so far, really for both teams, but so far the rim has not been forgiving here coming out of Thanksgiving break. As Gonzalez checks out for Mason City. Riverhawks have Kennick Onder, the sophomore, on the floor right now. Onder at 5'8", as they'll inbound the ball and get it right corner to Latham. 9.9 points per game last year, their lead returning scorer. as Latham works into the lane and throws it away as Lentz intercepts it. And there is a bump and a foul called against Mason City. Their fourth foul of the first quarter, as it'll be Langston Brandt, who also just checked in, getting called for that one. Brandt, a Mason City freshman at 5'3", wearing the long sleeves underneath her jersey. Her first personal foul. Next one will send the Bulldogs to the line here in the first quarter.
I was going to say, Bulldogs continue to work the offense, get the ball inside. They're going to be shooting free throws here pretty quick.
Here's the drive inside by Maya Lentz.
Ooh,
that would have been close to a foul there, but they'll give it a clean block for Mason City, and coming the other way is Latham. Latham pulls up for a 15-footer. Off back iron, no, and the rebound is controlled by Emma Spear for Algona. Spear outlets down the floor towards Lentz, left corner, and the ball squeezes him. Involved in the action, here's Limbaugh. Ran through one of the Mason City players as she fouls Braun. That's the Bulldogs' second foul. Ran into her there at the foul line as Braun caught that pass. And Iger checks out and Van Otterloo back in.
Kate had the right idea there, saw the pass coming, waited just a half second too long and collected the foul as a result.
Inbound from the near side baseline for Latham. 4:01 on the clock, 4-3 Algona. And she'll lob it into the wing to Dykstra. Works it around to the left to Onder. Back onto the right wing to Latham. She'll catch, she'll fire, and free ball is off glass. And rebound is hugged, it's fought for, and there's a tie-up. This time possession arrow towards Algona as McLaughlin and Braun were wrestling underneath the bucket for that one. Well, I talked to Hayden McLaughlin's older sister, Lauren, after last basketball season wrapped up, and she really commended her younger sister's physicality. I think there were a lot of tough one-on-one games in the McLaughlin household, and I don't think Hayden would give Lauren an inch back in the day as catching on the post as Limbaugh got deep underneath, and she scored.
Yeah, just a couple extra dribbles there, backed in, got a good angle for herself.
Yeah, the 6'1 Limbaugh overpowered the 5'7 Braun on that play to give the Bulldogs a 6-3 lead. 3.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter, nearly a throwaway by Mason City as McLaughlin almost swiped that ball for Algona. Ball gets worked down into the right corner to Braun, guarded by Limbaugh. Limbaugh sticking with the smaller guard of Mason City as Braun pivots around and turns her back to the bucket, bouncing it off to Latham on the Bulldog logo. Down to 10 on the shot clock. Latham will go left, trying to stay in front of Spear. Latham barreling inside, Spear stayed in front, and the ball's out of bounds. Latham lost it off her leg.
Maybe trying to do just a little bit too much herself that time. Provide leadership and trying to force the action.
I think that's where you feel the pressure is the lead returning score for Mason City and their leading score so far for 2 games. When the shots aren't going down for the other 4 on the floor, you feel like you have to force up a few shots or try to force your way inside. McLaughlin on the high post finds Dunning top of the arc. Dunning drives in left side, goes right into the body of a defender, missed wildly on the layup. Braun had the rebound, but Dunning took it right back away. Bellajo Dunning sticking for the plays. The Bulldogs have a fresh 35. Now Dunning's in the right corner. Probing, looking, feeding Limbaugh. Limbaugh one-on-one with a much smaller defender. Too strong on the layup. Limbaugh got it back, and it's going to be a held ball. Limbaugh shot over the 5'5 Gonzalez there as Mason City has the possession arrow in their favor. Again, you like what the Bulldogs are doing, though, offensively. They're identifying the advantage. We've got a size advantage, whether it's McLaughlin inside or Limbaugh inside, and they're getting a lot of paint touches so far. We always heard the Bulldog coaches last year, Greg, say, trust the map. And I think, again, you're going to say those are good shots, and eventually the map's going to even out, and some of those will start going down.
Yeah, normal shooting percentage, Bulldogs probably looking at about a 8 to 10-point lead right now instead of just a 3-point lead. Neither team hitting the ball or hitting the shots very well right now. Mason City, just 1 out of 8.
2.5 minutes left in the first quarter as Algona leads 6-3. Pivoting around on the right elbows, Caldwell. Nothing open as Van Tiger did a good job of staying in front of Latham and denying her the ball. Now it's Gonzalez on the right wing, dribbling towards the right side corner. Feeds it onto the block to Braun. Braun blanketed by Limbaugh. Tried to pivot around and Limbaugh erased that shot. Now here comes Taylor Van Otterloo the other direction. Passes near side to Hayden McLaughlin. She did a lateral jab step there and then called for the travel on the play as she went for the big fake. And the official right in front of that calls her for the travel. So Bulldogs turn it over right there as Mason City has it back of 2:10 on the clock. Another slower offensive start to the ball game as we saw defense really be the story of the game when Algona played Forest City on Tuesday night. These young Bulldogs, 4 out of 5 new starters, but played really hard defense in that game. Thus far, Caldwell deep on the left wing, given some space by Van Otterloo. Bounce pass will go to Brandt. Now she'll find Braun. Braun blew a tire there as she slipped on the floor and tripped. May have been some. She gets it up top to Van Otterloo. Van Otterloo on the pump fake. She'll drive. She'll go into the body of 2 defenders, and that shot got erased. Mason City gets the loose basketball. Coming the other way is Latham. Latham wants to drive. She spins left against Van Tiger. Worked her way into the lane, but that shot got tipped on the way up. It goes out of bounds. Last touch by Algona with 1:25 on the clock. get ready to bring Spear back into the ball game as she'll come in and replace Limbaugh. And Mason City will have Latham inbound the ball. Still 6-3 Algona. Nothing open initially for Latham. Telling someone to go out beyond the 3-point line as Braun goes out to the logo and catches the inbounds pass. Back to the left to Latham here for 1:21 left in the first quarter. She'll dribble towards the right and find Braun on the wing. Now to the right corner to Gonzalez. A brief poke away by Lentz. Gonzalez got it back. And it's stolen away by Emma Spears. Gonzalez never fully regained control of that ball. Spear up ahead to Van Tiger. Cross-court feed to Lentz. She'll shoot from the left side, and Lentz in and out on the threes. It swirled around the drain. Van Tiger rebound, put back no. Third opportunity, Hayden McLaughlin up and in. 8-3 Algona. Hayden McLaughlin on the board of her first 2 of the night after that 23-point outing against Forest City. And averaging over 10 points per game last year as Lentz deflects the entry pass. But we've got a foul inside on Algona as I believe McLaughlin got the arm of Braun that time with 46 seconds left in the quarter. And it was indeed McLaughlin with her first personal. Only the third team foul on Algona here as the first quarter winds down. As Onder comes back in for Mason City, Braun goes to the bench. From the near side baseline, it's Latham. Bounce pass into the lane. She'll find an open player, and Onder will lay that one in to make it 8-5.
Well, good job. Nice find.
8-5, second field goal of the day so far for Mason City. Bulldogs still on top as Spear has it on the right side. With those lightly colored shoes as he drives in, splits 2 defenders, deals out to Van Otterloo, sets herself a 3. Way too strong on that one. And the rebound vacuumed in by Onder from Mason City. Shot clock's now off. Mason City can have the final shot if they want it. 19 left on the game clock in quarter number 1. Gonzalez down in the right corner in front of Bulldog head coach Noel McLaughlin. Wants to work the baseline and she shuffled the shoes. Maya Lentz gave her a step there on the baseline, and that was too tempting for Gonzalez, but again, got going there a little quick before the ball hit the hardwood.
Turnover number 7 of the Riverhawks. Good opportunity for the Bulldogs here. 12.5 seconds to go. Plenty of time to get down there and get a good shot.
Yeah, chance to get a very good shot here as Dykstra comes in for Mason City and Latham goes to the bench. Ball's inbounded to Van Otterloo. We roll here of 10 seconds. Van Otterloo walks it across half court and passes to Dunning at the foul line. Feeds McLaughlin 1-on-1. Ball got poked away. McLaughlin fighting to get open. Top of the arc to Dunning with 2, with 1. Passes to McLaughlin. She got the shot off. And the line drive, the 3-point ball short. It is no good as quarter number 1 comes to an end. Both teams still finding their footing coming out of Thanksgiving break. It's Algona 8 and Mason City 5 as we move to the second quarter on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
Thank you to these sports club members making this broadcast possible.
Runkey Brothers. Experience the Runkey Brothers difference for all your auto service and repair needs.
Strowman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong, keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
Tangle Salon for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, carrying Steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
Ulrich Construction, let them do the work.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service, call 295-SOFT.
All bringing you this broadcast.
Hey Bulldog fans, this is Hayden McLaughlin. You're listening to Algona Girls Basketball on KLGA.
Tyler Lance alongside Greg Stewart for the start of the second quarter as Algona leads Mason City 8-5. And Greg, a very defensive-oriented quarter number 1.
Well, yes, good defense both ways, but offensive struggles both ways as well. Algona, I think, has got a lot of good shots there in that first quarter. Ball just not going down. So what you really need is some stick-to-itiveness there and believing in the math, as you said. Some of those shots are going to start falling. Right now, 4 baskets for Algona underneath. That's been it.
Bulldogs have the ball to start the second quarter. They'll feed Dunning on the right block, barreling inside, but forced up the shot, no good. Steady defense there by Braun, and the jump ball called underneath. Possession arrow towards Mason City. Braun stood her ground there against Dunning. Meanwhile, for the Mason City offense, they've really got to find an additional threat outside of Latham, because you can tell Latham very confident, taking a lot of shots and driving to the bucket a lot, but some of those other players maybe a little more tentative to pull the trigger there with Latham, that most veteran player on the floor right now. Mason City surveying the defense. They'll get it down to the baseline. To Braun, now into the lane. Shot is off glass, and it is no good by Braun. Or by Dykstra, that is, excuse me, and the Bulldogs control the rebound. McLaughlin on the left wing for Algona with 7:17 on the clock in quarter number 2. Finds Lentz. Physical defense by Gonzalez. And a little too physical there, according to the official, who gets Mason City for their first foul of the quarter.
Well, and Gonzalez quick to nod her head. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's a good matchup to watch, though. Gonzalez against Lentz if they play in that man-to-man defense. You've got to respect the three-point ball and the drive of Lentz as the feed goes inside to Dunning. Tries to pivot around. She faces the bucket, and she draws the foul. Braun called for that one, much to the disagreement of Coach Trask, and Dunning will shoot her first 2 free throws of the night.
Now, it's really hard to defend when you're on that close. When Dunning turns into you, go straight up with a shot like that, because if you're leaning in even slightly, you're going to make contact with the arm.
And Dunning not afraid of contact as she rattles in the first free throw to make it 9-5. Free throw shooting was something that Dunning struggled with at the outset last season, but that seemed to take a step forward, especially after winter break last year. And you know she's going to take a lot of free throws with that physical style of play, so those are important points for the Bulldogs. She will split the pair, and then Mason City trying to get the rebound, had their foot on the baseline. Gonzalez was out of bounds, so the Bulldogs will try to double up here, getting the ball back. Van Otterloo inbounds to McLaughlin, got the seal inside, and she scored.
Exactly right. Nice job of sealing her defender right behind her, and nice open look.
Yeah, Langston Brandt got caught in a very bad position, and not much you can do there when McLaughlin catches with no one between her and the basket. 11-5 Algona. Latham works into the lane for Mason City. A bounce pass looking for Gonzalez, but it's out of her reach and out of bounds as the Riverhawks' struggles on offense continue.
That's 9 turnovers early in the second quarter.
Algona looking to take advantage as Van Otterloo crosses the half-court line and gets it to Spear on the left side. Spear sees an opening but brings it back out. Up top to Lentz. Pivots around and fires it around to the right. Into the corner to Dunning with 6:30 on the clock. Dunning working the left-handed dribble to the foul line. Up top to Van Otterloo. Rotates left wing to McLaughlin. Back up top to Dunning. Dunning looks, dribbles towards the right and gives it to Van Otterloo. 10 on the shot clock. Corner pocket to Spear. Now to McLaughlin, edge of the paint, outside to Lentz. She'll catch, she'll fire, she'll cash in the three-point ball. Maya Lentz had a late 3 against Forest City that was big to get Algona back into the game and has her first 3 of this evening, giving Algona the 14-5 lead. Getting underneath, but missing on the shot from the left side is Brandt, and the Bulldogs control the rebound. Spear full head of steaming to the front court, stops in the wing. Bulldogs rotated around to Dunning, 1 step left of center. McLaughlin on the left wing works the right-handed dribble, zings it over to Van Otterloo. She'll shoot the 3. That's a bit too strong. Fight for the rebound, and Spear able to rip it away, but it's going to be a tie-up. Riverhawks had their hands in there long enough, and the possession arrow is towards Algona. Substitutions here as Van Tiger comes back in, as well as Limbaugh for Algona. Van Otterloo and Lentz going to the bench. Mason City has brought Braun back into the game as Gonzalez will take a blow. Van Tiger from the left side baseline with 5:46 on the clock. Gets it into McLaughlin on the left wing. Back to Van Tiger, now inside to Limbaugh, who takes a power dribble, spins towards the bucket, but got a little out of control there. She can't get the shot to fall, and Mason City controls the rebound.
Nice strong move, just too deep.
Latham barreling inside. Latham went coast to coast, and she scored over Dunning.
Well, that was an awkward shot. Had to reach back in with the right hand, off balance.
It rolled up at the front of the rim and went in as it's 14-7. Latham her first 2 points. A nice pass by Dunning, baseline to Van Tiger. Now to Spear, outside to McLaughlin. Around to Dunning, top of the arc. 1 dribble on inside to Limbaugh. Limbaugh trying to get going. Ball got peeled away, though. The good hands by Dykstra, but Van Tiger got it back. Passes cross-court to McLaughlin. She'll fire. No good on the 3 off the back iron. And the rebound is lassoed in by Kinnick Onder. And then she throws it away as Spear got in front of the pass. 5 minutes left in the second quarter, 14-7 Algona. Van Tiger wide open in the corner. Too strong as she airballed the 3-pointer. Deflected out of bounds and last touched by Algona.
Well, the Bulldogs, I think, just need to see the ball go in the hoop a little bit. Shot just 4 out of 17 in that first quarter. Here under 25%.
Yeah, and they're getting the ball inside of Limbaugh on these matchups in the post, but just hasn't quite been able to finish on a lot of those so far tonight, as she has 2 points at this juncture of the game. Inside the Latham trying to pass through a crowded lane, knocked away by Limbaugh. Then a scrap to the basketball as Van Tiger and Latham got tied up with that one. It'll be possession here for Mason City as the Bulldogs bring Lentz and Van Otterloo back in place of Dunning and Spear. Mason City trying to get subbed here as well as Brandt will head to the bench. Onder on the floor right now with Caldwell. It's 14-7 Algona, as we'll have a quick stoppage whistled here.
Officials talking about something, I'm not sure what.
I don't know if that was lineup related. Mason City was kind of all over the place getting people in and out of the game, but whatever it was, they haven't figured out. They were looking up at the clock, but they keep the clock at 4:35, 18 on the shot clock. There was no change of possession there. As the ball goes into the corner for Mason City to Dykstra. Works it around to Caldwell, now back to the far side of the court, out beyond the perimeter to Latham. Latham spins towards the left, got by Van Tiger. Good help defense by the Bulldogs, but the foul comes in as Latham will shoot 2. Latham was able to spin towards her left that time. Bulldogs were able to run a second defender to the direction she was spinning, but some contact to the arm called against Van Tiger, and Latham will shoot a pair. Thus far has only missed 1 free throw this season for the first 2 games. And the first one almost went out there. It bounced around the rim a couple of times. It settled in to make it 14-8. As Latham will reload here for a second foul shot. The junior captain for Mason City missed off to the left, and Limbaugh reels in the rebound for Algona. A feed down low to Lentz. Maroon under the bucket. She'll get it back outside of Van Otterloo. Around the arc it goes to McLaughlin. Now onto the wing to Lentz, right side. Corner to Van Otterloo. Zips it into Limbaugh. Trying to create space, and she traveled.
Yeah. Doing the right thing again, but dropped her left foot first and then spun in with her right foot for the travel.
You know what I think Limbaugh did well against Forest City is she didn't get sped up too often, but I feel like Limbaugh's gotten a little sped up here in our last few post touches, trying to rush through that move as Lentz knocks a pass away, and it's collected by Van Tiger as the Bulldogs force another turnover. Van Tiger back to Lentz, inside to McLaughlin. McLaughlin spins towards the right, kisses it off the window and scores. 16-8 Algona. A nice move by Hayden McLaughlin with 5 early points. And 3:46 on the clock. In the lane goes Braun. Braun had her shot bothered, and Limbaugh fights her away for the rebound. Mason City goes one and done again. Not many offensive boards to be had so far for the Riverhawks as Limbaugh's out on the perimeter. Gets it in the lane to McLaughlin. Out to the wing. Taylor Van Otterloo catch and shoots. And the make for Taylor Van Otterloo. And a timeout called by Mason City. A 30-second timeout as Van Otterloo makes it 19-8 Algona. Well, it was a matter of time. You're waiting for some shots like that to start to loosen up, but we've seen Lentz knock a 3-point ball down this quarter, Van Otterloo as well, and then, of course, the inside work of Hayden McLaughlin on that previous possession.
Yeah, that was great. Hayden, so good at that last year. She's continued that this year. Very strong move, knew exactly what she's doing, and as she went toward the baseline, really made good use of the glass. And I really like the way the Bulldogs are playing because they have attacked the basket, gone inside. That Mason City defense is trying to plug up the middle. You're going to have open looks at the perimeter, and they're spotting up out there and made 2 big ones here. Lenz and now Van Otterloo. 2 out of 5 here this quarter after a 0-for-5 start.
Bulldogs are bringing out the press here against Mason City, turning up the heat out of the Riverhawk timeout. 19-8 Algona as they'll back off now with 3:23 in the clock. And boy, how welcome is it for Algona? They're not going up against someone like the 6-foot-tall Jenna Donchie of Forest City on the interior. That helps as well with getting the ball inside as Donald works the right side baseline. Back in after 2 first-quarter fouls. And our bounce pass intercepted by Van Tiger as the Bulldogs are flying around on defense. Van Otterloo into the forecourt. Stops and shovels it out to McLaughlin on the right side wing. Into the corner to Van Otterloo, now into Dunning, got deep in the post. Dunning powers it up and in. Had the smaller 5'1" Caldwell on her, and Dunning takes advantage, 21-8.
Good fundamental by Dunning there. Again, squared up to the baseline, had a nice look at the basket.
That is 5 points by Dunning. Caldwell 3 on the other end, and that one deadens off the back of the iron. Mason City briefly had the rebound. They do fight the shot up and put it in as Latham shoveled that one up through traffic and made the shot to make it 21-8. 21-10, that is. Latham 5 of the 10 points for Mason City so far. Spear pivots around on the perimeter. Bulldogs work it back out top to Van Otterloo to reset the offense with 2:23 on the clock. Then Tiger on the right side comes over to McLaughlin. Takes one dribble at the top of the arc and gives it off to Dunning with 17 on the shot clock. Spear twirls around, dribbles around a Dunning screen, and passes to Van Otterloo. Passes up the 3. She'll drive towards the lane. Top of the arc to Van Tiger. She'll catch, she'll release. No good on the 3 as Donald trampolines in for the rebound. Down to 2 minutes left in the first half. 21-10 Algona. Mason City basketball with the bucket towards the right. Caldwell on the left wing, working against Van Otterloo. Spins towards the foul line, pivots left of the lane. Turns around 360, puts up a left-handed shot. That ball crawls up the rim and drops through. A patient move that time by Caldwell for her first field goal of the night. Dunning charging the other way, putting it off the window and scoring.
Boy, you talk about a strong move to the basket.
Yeah, she came downhill to the bucket that time, and it's 23-12 Algona. Donald racing towards the bucket on the Mason City side. She'll bounce it out beyond the perimeter to Latham. Riverhawks will work it back around the perimeter, top of the arc to Donald. Donald into traffic, pulls up for a mid-range jumper, left it short, and the rebound falls into the pocket of Dunning. Van Otterloo gets it out to Van Tiger. 1:14 on the clock. Bulldogs working all the way around the perimeter to Spear. Now back up to Dunning. Dunning, one dribble, pivots 360, and lobs it almost over the head of Anadolu, who made the one-handed catch. 1 minute left in the first half. Left corner to McLaughlin. Drives in, she got by on the baseline, and she drew the foul. The late help by Mason City, and the aggressive drive by Hayden McLaughlin, as she'll shoot with 57 seconds left in the first half.
Nice job by Hayden realizing that little ball fake there. Left the baseline open. Had a tough angle at a shot, but that little scoop drew the foul.
Foul number 2 on Latham, as the first free throw is in and out for McLaughlin, and the score stays 23-12. Limbaugh comes in for Van Otterloo for Algona. Mason City is going to change their lineup here. On the floor right now is Dykstra. Graceland falls in for the first time as well. Brandt on the floor as well for Mason City. Donald and Gonzalez. Offensive board off the missed free throw by Limbaugh. Put back no. Second put back by Limbaugh, and she'll set that one in. 3-point trip down the floor for the Bulldogs. One made free throw, and then the 2 for Limbaugh, and it's 25-12. 45 seconds left in the first half. Falls' pass got knocked away into Gonzalez's hands. Fakes the 3, she'll drive by Dunning. Spear comes over to help, and drawing the foul on the drive is Gonzalez, as she'll shoot with 37 seconds left in the half. Gonzalez, good aggressive player for Mason City. We've seen that on both ends so far. Defensively and offensively, she'll shoot a pair.
Good quickness, certainly.
Sophomore for Mason City, one of the new starters after graduating 3 of their 5 starters from last season, as that free throw goes up and in. Riverhawks last year finished the year 17-7. The year prior, 20-3, although off to an 0-2 start this season. Gonzalez pulls the trigger on the second free throw and swishes that one. 25-14, the Algona lead right now. Shot clock 2 seconds behind the game clock, as we're down to 32 on the game clock. Lentz working across the foul line, finds Dunning top of the arc. She'll release the tray, missed it right, and Van Tiger got the box out position and grabs the ball for Algona. Shot clock off, they feed Limbaugh inside. Limbaugh off the window, no. Got her own miss back, got squared up, and she scored.
Well, it's a couple times that Limbaugh's been able to add to those offensive rebound stats.
27-14 as she stayed for her own miss. 8 seconds left in the half. Here comes Mason City across half court. It's Dykstra working the dribble. 4 seconds. Over to Gonzalez with 3, with 2. She'll find Donald with 1 second. Got the shot off for 3, and it's short. Good sticky defense by Beljo Dunning, and the second quarter has come to an end. Algona slowly finding their footing offensively. They've extended their lead over Mason City, 27-14 as we've arrived at halftime. We'll take a timeout. Come back with halftime coverage after this on Hometown Radio KLGA.
More Sports Club members bringing you this game.
North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East in Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest.
Oak Crest Funeral Service, celebrating a life lived.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair, service is the difference.
Billy Offerman, your State Farm agent in Algona. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Schindler Lawn Care and Landscaping, 515-320-3840 or schindlerlawncare@gmail.com.
Signworks Inc. for all your signage needs and printed apparel. Stop in or call 295-9544.
All sponsoring this broadcast on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Where you bank matters. Hi, I'm Sherry Bankin at Security State Bank, and we're relationship bankers. We get to know our customers and understand their financial needs. We're locally owned and operated, which means family, community, and service always comes first. So come to Security State Bank. We'll treat you like family. Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
Back here at halftime as the Algona Bulldogs lead the Mason City Riverhawks 27-14. And joining us right now to preview the boys' game is Algona basketball coach Jared Cecil. Coach, great to be talking to you here as the Bulldogs begin this season tonight. First of all, can you start us off? How was the offseason in the Bulldog program?
Offseason was pretty strong. We had a lot of guys in the gym and got a lot of shots up, so that's exciting. We got to play in a few shootouts and kind of see who those next kids are coming up and what they have to offer us. So it was a really good offseason for us, and excited about that. And you know, we'll see what that leads to tonight. We're a few practices in and ready to get things underway.
Coach, prior to Thanksgiving break, you tried to get your guys acquainted there for a little game speed at that scrimmage against Emmitsburg. What were you guys able to take away from that, first dose of action here leading into the season?
Yeah, I think we took away a ton of stuff, and that's why you play that one, right? And just getting some of those first game feelings in you and run out in front of a crowd and get part of that going. But took away a lot of things that we've been working on in practice, and some of them I thought we executed really well, and others we were able to look at some footage and talk with the guys on, there's some urgency to getting some of these things cleaned up. So it's always a good snapshot. It's where you are after 1 week of practice and putting new players on the court as well. And so, like I said, took away a lot of good things and plenty of learning opportunities for the guys as well.
We're talking right now with Algona boys basketball coach Jared Cecil. Coach, a lot of returning talent from last year's team. Obviously, Ben Helmers graduates, but then 4 of the 5 starters come back. And, you look at guys like Nathan Mansky and Jacob Burns. They're guys who are going to be stepping into a bigger role this season, and opposing teams will be focusing more of their defense on those guys as well. So where's their confidence at in just knowing that there is going to be a lot of emphasis, both from you guys and from the opposing teams on what they're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. It's, you lose one player, but it feels like some new roles for everybody on the court, which is good, and that's what high school basketball is. So they're adjusting to it well. They like that role. Get some other guys to go with them and become, take some heat off once in a while. But there'll be certain times that those guys get some clamps put on them and have to look for, our second or third option of an offense.
Season opener tonight. Coaches, you guys take on the Mason City Riverhawks. What do you know about these guys, and what do you feel some of the biggest keys for a Bulldog victory tonight are?
Yeah, absolutely. One of them is we got to keep the ball in front of us, and they're talented. They're athletic. They played at Gilbert last night. Good talented Gilbert team, and Gilbert looked like they were going to pull away from them and ended up a 4-point ball game. So they don't lack effort, and they don't lack talent. So when they get all those things flowing together, it becomes a tough squad to play. So part of ours is going to have to be to disrupt that a little bit, shake it up. If they get some momentum and a rhythm, we're going to have to do some things to jolt them out of that a little bit. And then in our own world, work on the things that we've been working on. And that's an old story as we've talked, right? There's some prep for another team always. We've had a chance to watch plenty of last year's film again. Got to watch them play last night, but we still got to focus a lot of the things that we're trying to do to build, a good effort tonight, but also build for weeks ahead.
Coach, wrapping things up here with the internal focus of the Bulldogs, as you head into the new basketball season, what are the expectations right now of the coaching staff as far as what the guys need to do to make this a successful year?
Absolutely. We've had some good conversations, and the guys gave me some feedback on how they want to be remembered after the year, and they got a lot of great answers of, none of them talked about leading rebounder or leading scorer. They talked about being teammates and hardworking guys, and then that's our expectations. We talk a lot about attitude and effort and remaining consistent with it, not dependent on your circumstances. So that gets tested every night out. It gets tested in practice. It gets tested with some weather, that your attitude and effort, bring it every day, rain or shine, and same thing. When things go well on the court, we know there's some expected things that aren't going to go our way, right? We know we're going to miss shots. We know we're going to turn it over. We know there's some time we're probably going to want a foul called, and it's not going to get called. So just knowing those ahead of time, keep the attitude and effort where it's supposed to be, and give it all you got for 4 quarters.
Well, Coach, we're looking forward to tonight's game and the season ahead. Best of luck tonight, and thank you for stopping by.
Thanks a lot, Tyler.
That's Algona Bulldog boys basketball coach Jared Cecil joining us here on Hometown Radio KLGA. We'll take another timeout and get to the second half of the girls' game coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. When you come in, your family.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. We meet by accident.
Algona Livestock. Sales every Monday.
Weichert Realty, the 515 agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush beats a full house.
Cotton Grave Farm Management and Land Realty, trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
As always, we give a big thank you to Algona boys basketball coach Jared Cecil for stopping by here at halftime of the girls' game, as the Bulldog boys will play their season opener coming up here after the conclusion of the girls' matchup. Right now in the girls' game, it's Algona leading Mason City 27-14. The Bulldogs had an 8-5 scoring advantage in the first quarter, then outscored Mason City 19-9 in the second, as the offense started to pick up a little bit there. A lot of second chance opportunities for the Bulldogs, some putbacks, a couple free-pointers starting to drop, and ultimately the Bulldogs here are able to get a good lead here at halftime against the Mason City City Riverhawks. Scoring-wise so far for Algona, unofficially, Beljo Dunning with 7 points right now, Hayden McLaughlin of 6, Taylor Van Otterloo of 5, the leading scorers for Algona. Mason City's Latham has scored 5 points so far in this ball game, but no one else over 3. There was an early 3-point make by Donald, but that's her only 3 of the night. You have 2 points on the board here from Gonzalez for Mason City, as well as for Caldwell, and Onder for Mason City too. So not a ton of offense so far for the Riverhawks, but Greg, like we said, even though it wasn't a pretty start offensively for the Bulldogs, you started to see some improvements, some more makes, and really some more offensive rebounds as the first half went on.
Yeah, absolutely. The Bulldogs have a nice advantage inside in this ball game from the start, and especially when Limbaugh's on the floor. There's a significant advantage inside. And unofficially, I've got Algona with 8 offensive boards there in the first half of this ball game, which is pretty good. A couple of possessions, there were multiple offensive boards on the same possession. And also aggressive defense. You know, we talked about that for years in basketball, particularly early in the season. Sometimes the shots you just don't have the rhythm, don't have the confidence built up in the shot, and that can vary from game to game. Defense doesn't have to. If you give the good effort, defense and rebound, it can be there. And I think the Bulldogs have done a good job defensively, really staying after it. Unofficially, again, 12 turnovers on the Riverhawks in that first half. So 12 turnovers, you collected those possessions, 8 offensive boards, ends up 34 shot attempts in the first half for Algona, just 19 for the Riverhawks. That's a good recipe for winning a ball game right there, if you can get 15 extra shots per half. And the Bulldogs did start to hit them, as you mentioned. That first half, Algona hit just 4 out of 17 from the floor, first quarter rather, and the second quarter hit 8 out of 17, so just about 50%. So that was coming along as well.
It really does all start on the defensive end, Greg, because like you were talking about, sometimes early in the season, the offense can be, a little bit slow coming out of the gates. But really, I think not just early in the season, but throughout this whole season, this is going to be a big focus for Coach McLaughlin and the team. You're going to have 5 players at any given time on the floor who are playing really hard defense. We're seeing the Bulldogs get their hands in the passing lane. We're seeing them rip rebounds away from Mason City and not give the Riverhawks second chance opportunities. And we're just seeing a Mason City team that is a step slower on offense than Algona is on defense. So I would have to imagine, even though there's much to work on offensively, the Bulldog coaching staff certainly has to be pleased with this defensive effort so far.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where it starts, as you mentioned, and the Bulldogs have been doing a nice job, and I'm sure coming out here in the second half, you're going to see the Bulldogs maintain some pressure on the ball because this young Mason City team is struggling to find their footing offensively, and the more pressure you can put on them defensively, the more they're going to hurry and the more likely they are to make mistakes or rush shots, and that, of course, all plays into what you want to do on defense.
We will begin the second half. Bulldogs wearing the white uniforms, Mason City in the black uniforms. Again, 27-14 in favor of Algona as we begin quarter number 3 here in the Bulldog home opener. Algona for their all-junior starting lineup, black on the floor with McLaughlin, Van Otterloo, Spear, Dunning, and Lentz. Mason City back to their starting lineup as well with Gonzalez, Donald, Braun, Latham, and Caldwell. Bulldogs move left to right on the radio dial to begin the second half as we are rolling here from the Bulldog High School Gymnasium. That large Bulldog silhouette at midcourt here on this new Bulldog hardwood. A nice feed inside by Lentz to show fight Hayden McLaughlin all by herself for the 2.
Well, that was a beautiful bounce pass on the baseline side there. Defense came out to double team her, and a nice bounce pass underneath the basket to McLaughlin.
She was able to thread that one right in there as Donald throws a bounce pass that goes behind Gonzalez and out of bounds. Gonzalez started to move towards the basket, and Donald threw that ball closer to half court as the Riverhawks turn it over for the first time in the second half. Van Otterloo surveys the defense and flings it near side to Spear. Mason City's going to pick up near half court as Bulldogs do get across. Into the corner to McLaughlin, now back out to Van Otterloo. They rush at Van Otterloo, into the corner to McLaughlin. Cross-court feed to Spear, passes into the right corner to Lentz. Now works it back to Spear on the right wing, poked away by Latham, but Spear got it back and tries to dribble away from traffic, and a foul called against Latham. That is going to be number 3 on Latham, and the first team foul by Mason City.
And that's a girl that the Riverhawks do not want to have to take off the court.
They're going to leave her on for now, but that's going to be a situation where you've got to play very smart here if you're Latham. Van Otterloo looks, dribbles away from traffic, passes underneath to McLaughlin. McLaughlin steps away from a defender, switches to the left hand, but misses the shot, and the rebound vacuumed in by Caldwell for Mason City. 29-14 Algona. Latham has the ball in her right-handed. She'll bounce it over to Donald on the wing with 1 minute gone here in quarter number 3. Pass onto the right wing to Latham, looks for Braun inside, poked away by Dunning, cutting in front of aggressive defense as she knocks it down the hallway. The possession will be kept here by Mason City. Even when you have plays like that aren't a turnover, that can really get you out of rhythm offensively of how often the Bulldogs are knocking the ball out of bounds and forcing Mason City to run inbounds play after inbounds play. A pass towards the lane, hit off the back of the backboard. It was intended for a wide-open Caldwell, but the Bulldogs take it away. They're off that deflection. Into Dunning, deep in the post, works over Gonzalez and draws the foul. Dunning got low that time and tried to explode for the body of Gonzalez, who picks it up for Mason City's second team foul of the quarter.
Well, and Gonzalez, we talked about before, a very quick player, but also very aggressive, and she was really tight that time on Dunning.
Who misses on the first free throws. The score stays 29-14.
I think Dunning realized that and took the shot up immediately. She was going to draw contact, which she did. Bulldogs struggling at the line tonight, just 1 out of 5.
Dykstra checks in for Caldwell. Bulldogs a very good free throw shooting team last season as Dunning splits the pair. And Algona's lead is up to 30-14 as the Bulldogs will pressure Mason City a little bit here in the backcourt. Van Otterloo one-on-one right now with Dykstra, who just came into the game. She'll unload the ball to Latham, dribbles away from Van Otterloo and surges across half court and got tripped up there by Van Otterloo. Looked like knee bumping into knee right there as Latham's a little banged up there on the play.
Now she fell kind of awkwardly. I thought there's just a little hesitation on the dribble, and there was not much of a bump, just a very slight one, but just enough to throw off balance. And sometimes you go down awkwardly, just kind of reaching for right hip there. I don't know if that's what contact with the floor, but certainly hope that she'll be okay. But right now, it looks like she's probably going off to the side. She's still on the floor here.
Yeah, I'd imagine she'd get at least a little bit of the break here because it didn't seem like she really was able to break the fall there after getting tripped up by Van Otterloo. So Mason City will now try to find some answers offensively. I mean, Latham has the ball in her hands a lot for this Riverhawk offense. So not only do you need someone to take the shots, but you need someone to be your primary ball handler as well here if Latham has to spend some time on the bench. Fortunately, it seems like she's smiling and getting up to her feet right now after that, but definitely got a little dinged up there on the play where she was tripped. That foul was the first team foul by the Bulldogs and the first personal foul by Van Otterloo.
Going off toward the locker room, perhaps.
So they will check her out a little bit further here, but Mason City will resume without Latham on the floor. It is Caldwell, Dykstra, Donald, Gonzalez, and Braun for the Riverhawks, as the clock never ended up starting there on the inbounds pass, so we will reset here and go again. Lead right now 30-14 in favor of Algona as Mason City tries to avoid an 0-3 start to the season after going 17-7 last year. Bounce pass into Braun. She'll give it right off to Donald, and Donald traveled.
Yeah. Right idea, but handed the ball off there, and she had no room to put down the dribble.
Yeah, the officials, they have been on top of the travels tonight. They are not going to let you get away with that here in this game, as both teams have been called a couple of times so far for walking with the basketball. Lentz has the ball right corner, bumping bodies of Gonzalez, and gets it onto the wing to McLaughlin. Around the perimeter go to the Bulldogs. They reverse it to Van Tiger. Inside to Dunning, spins away from a defender. Dunning, tough shot, bounces off the rim as she left it short, and Braun controls the rebound for Mason City.
Mason City really stepping up the defense, really putting a lot of pressure on the perimeter.
Yeah, they are flying around here on that end of the court to start the second half as ladling that ball up to the left and missing it is Dykstra. Bulldogs once again force Mason City to be one and done. Pass by Lentz inside to Dunning is a little bit too tall as Dunning can't contain it, and Mason City gets the ball back. Limbaugh comes back in now for Algona as she will replace Lentz in the lineup. Lentz back in the starting five for the Bulldogs. Came off the bench in that game against Forest City. Was the second leading scorer in that game for Algona behind Hayden McLaughlin. Like we said, she's a little banged up here to start the season, but you wouldn't be able to tell watching how she's played basketball so far. 5:42 left in the third quarter. Mason City trying to get past the Bulldog press as they do, but then in the front court, Gabby Van Tiger intercepts a pass that was intended for Caldwell. Limbaugh deals it over to Van Otterloo. McLaughlin trying to get some post position inside as the Bulldogs work the ball around the perimeter. With 5.5 minutes left in the third. Dunning down in the right corner. Cross-court feed to Van Otterloo. Rotates it to McLaughlin. Sees a good-looking three-point ball, but it rims out. Van Tiger there for the rebound. Poked away by Donald. Dunning got it back, though, and missed the shot. Another opportunity as Limbaugh puts it up and in.
There's where Kate Limbaugh can really make a huge difference.
Yeah, Limbaugh at 6'1", and like we always say, you can't teach that. You can teach basketball fundamentals and rebounding and all that good stuff, but if you're 6'1", you're 6'1", and that's a big help for the Bulldogs as Mason City throws a half-court length pass where it's intercepted by Dunning down by the Riverhawk baseline. Bulldogs force another turnover as McLaughlin works her way into the lane, patiently splits two defenders, puts it up and in!
Just ducked between the defenders. Nice little scoop shot off the board.
She was able to make herself small that time to get through. Hayden McLaughlin has 10 points, and Mason City wants a timeout. It's Algona 34, Mason City 14 in this 60-second timeout. We'll take it as well. Back after this on KLGA Hometown Radio.
High school sports on Hometown Home Country Radio. Brought to you by these sports club members.
American Glass. For all your glass needs, think American.
Central Financial Group, where you belong.
Down to Earth Tree Service, your local Algona tree service.
Ed Service Station, service you can trust.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch and Daniel Foth.
Glenn's Green Thumb. From a small seed, something beautiful will grow.
Iowa Lakes Community College. Your community, your college.
Snap-on Tools, the most valued tool storage solutions in the world.
All sponsors of this game.
Hey Bulldog fans, this is Gabby Van Tiger, and you're listening to Algona Girls Basketball on KLGA.
Coming out of the Mason City timeout, it's Algona 34, Mason City 14 with 4:40 left in the third quarter. Mason City yet to score in this period as the Bulldog defense has been stifling tonight.
Well, the Riverhawks just one field goal attempt here in the second half, while the Bulldogs made 3 out of 7.
And the good news for Mason City is that Latham has returned to the hardwood. It's Latham, Caldwell, Braun, Dykstra, and Gonzalez for Mason City as Caldwell dribbles through traffic, and our pass intended for Braun is thrown out of bounds.
6 turnover since second half started here. 18 now unofficially for the game for the Riverhawks.
And these are some of the struggles that a team that hasn't played together a whole lot has to deal with as the Bulldog defense has put the pressure on, and we've seen a lot of errant passes here by Mason City. A feed inside to Dunning. Dunning leans back, can't bank it home. Limbaugh the cleanup effort though and puts it in. 36-14.
Yet another example. Nice quick move underneath, but Limbaugh there to collect it.
A dangerous cross-court pass intercepted by Limbaugh. Shovels from McLaughlin at the foul line and finds the trailing Dunning. Dunning sets herself for a 3. Missed it right. Rebound deflects around into the hands of Hayden McLaughlin, and a foul called against Mason City. That ball went through a couple black jerseys in the lane there before ending up in the gut of Hayden McLaughlin as Latham picks up her 4th personal foul. Boy, Mason City lost her with an injury earlier. That's the 3rd team foul, but now with 4 personals, we'll see if Donald comes in to get her, and she will.
Yep. Let her play a little bit again in the 4th quarter, probably.
So for the final 4 or 5 in the 3rd, Mason City will likely have to be without Latham on the floor. Van Tiger catches the inbound pass from the Bulldog bench, feeds McLaughlin inside, works back out to Dunning, left of the paint, shovels to McLaughlin in the corner, 3-point ball, left it short, and Braun parachutes in for the rebound. 36-14 Algona as Caldwell passes across the half-court line to Brandt. Brandt works it over to the wing to Gonzalez. Sees a good look from 3-point land. Too strong, though, and Dunning right there for the Algona rebound. Quickly finds Van Otterloo. Up ahead to Van Tigert from the Bulldog students. Inside to Limbaugh. Limbaugh off the window, and she puts it home.
Nice ball movement that time. Nice job by Limbaugh. Settling down the lane and spotting her.
And pass intercepted in the backcourt by Van Otterloo as Limbaugh now has 12 points. Van Tiger works around Braun, bumps bodies, and Braun calls for the foul as Van Tiger will head to the stripe. Well, Limbaugh, after a tough time getting those close-range shots to drop in the first half, she has hardly missed here in half number 2. A couple of offensive rebound putbacks. Good bucket there in transition on the last Bulldog possession. And after Mason City's 4th foul here, second on Braun, Van Tiger shoots her first free throw and makes it to make it 39-14. This is a 12-0 scoring push to begin the second half by Algona, who will send McLaughlin and Van Otterloo to the bench, with Lentz and Spear coming back in. Second free throw for Van Tiger, in and out. Fight for the rebound, and Lentz able to corral it for Algona. Fresh 35 for the Bulldogs. Lentz off the Dunning pass in the corner. Free ball rattles in. That ball thought about coming back out, but ended up settling into the cup, and it's 42-14. Mason City still looking for their first bucket of the quarter. Left-handed shot is hoisted up, but missed by Dykstra, and the rebound is controlled by Algona. Dunning working into the paint, spins towards the right. A great move, and Dunning scores!
Yeah, Dunning really set up the defender that time. Driver in the middle of the basket, middle of the lane rather, And then that reverse pivot kissed it off the glass. Nice job.
10 points by Dunning, and the Bulldogs are really starting to click on offense now. 44-14 as they have blown it open here in the third. A pass to the lane, knocked away by Van Tiger, and she intercepts the ball. Bumps into Donald, who spills to the deck, and the Bulldogs have an advantage here. Dunning in the right corner, wide open for three. Too strong. Ball pinballs around, loose in the lane. It's picked up by Algona. It's knocked out of bounds by Donald, and the Bulldogs will keep it with 2:22 on the clock. Boy, the energy is just high right now for this Bulldog team, and you can see some of the slumping and the size here on the Mason City side as the Bulldogs have opened things up here in the third. Riverhawks have Brandt back into the ball game. Inbound pass to Dunning. Dunning got open and she lays it in.
Good patience on that out-of-bounds play. Waiting for something to develop, and they got a perfect shot there.
Dunning now with 12 points. Also 12 by Limbaugh. It's McLaughlin of 10 as the Bulldogs have 3 in double figures so far tonight. On the left wing, it's Brandt. Her pass jumped by Lentz. Lentz runs the floor. Lentz to the bucket and gets the layup to go. Another shot by Lentz that almost fought about coming out, but ends up falling in. Lentz with 8 points, and it's 48-14 Bulldogs. Riverhawk basketball now with Dykstra working across the half-court line with 1:44 left in the third. Dykstra onto the wing as she'll find Kate Cotta, who just checked in. Back inside to Dykstra, had that ball swatted out. A scrap for the loose basketball, and Van Tiger gets tied up with Brandt as possession arrows towards Mason City. Bulldogs will go to the bench here. Cassidy Bierstedt checking in for the first time tonight. Hayden McLaughlin and Taylor Van Otterloo come back in as Limbaugh, Van Tiger, and Dunning go to the Pine. Actually, the first varsity action for Bierstedt now. 1:36 on the clock as Cotta inbound for Mason City. Gets it in, almost a little too tall there for Dykstra, who made the one-handed catch out beyond the perimeter. Hands the basketball off to Brandt, working around towards the left. Dribbles across the foul line. The poke away by the Bulldogs, but Mason City gets the ball back with Onder. 9 on the shot clock. Onder gets it top of the arc to Dykstra. 6 on the shot clock. Dykstra barreling downhill. Shot bothered by McLaughlin, and the rebound controlled by Van Otterloo for Algona. Gets the ball out to Lentz. Lentz on the right side baseline feeds it inside to Bierstedt, and she'll draw the foul. Again, a good patient attack by Algona, and they continue to get paint touches on just about every possession as they force the ball inside here against the smaller Riverhawk team as Bierstedt now shoots 2.
Yeah, it's been open 3 looks or right underneath the basket. Nice job on transition that time.
Bierstedt knocks down the first foul shot, and Algona on top 49-14.
Bierstedt going down through the lane, and nice job by Lenz, a Spotner, giving her the ball.
Second free throws off, back iron, no. Rebound by Hayden McLaughlin. Fights the shot up, but it's off the bottom of the backboard as Falls grabs the rebound for Mason City. 49-14 in favor of Algona. 1 minute left in the third quarter. Riverhawks still have yet to score here in this third period as out on the perimeter is Onder. Dribbles towards the foul line. Up top to Falls. Unloads the ball left side to Cotta. 17 on the shot clock for Mason City as Brandt now has the ball in her hand. Sidearm pass into the lane, almost knocked away by Bierstedt. Onder gets it back outside. Free point ball, Dykstra. Missed it left, and the rebound falls into the hands of Spear for Algona. 37 seconds left in the quarter. 49-14 Bulldogs
nice
inside Van Otterloo. She'll find Hayden McLaughlin running the floor and scoring. Great distribution here for the Algona offense. 51-14.
Bulldogs really keeping their heads up, looking inside, sharing the ball.
Shot clock is off for the Riverhawk offense. In the right corner, it's Dykstra. High arcing three-point ball is short. Long rebound deflects out beyond the perimeter, and it's tracked down by Brandt with 9 seconds on the game clock. Brandt passes to the cutting Dykstra under the bucket. Bierstedt knocks the pass away. It rolls towards the corner. Picked up by Onder. Turnaround jumper, no. Lentz grabs it with 1 second left, and the Bulldogs let the third quarter come to an end. Algona has blown this game open as they hold Mason City scoreless in the third quarter. It's 51-14 Algona moving to the fourth on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game.
Erpelding Voigt & Company CPAs, building wealth beyond taxes.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Farmer State Bank is proud to be part of our community. Offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Feed Mill Coffee Company, Algona's locally owned coffee shop.
Good Samaritan Society Algona, senior housing and services rooted in God's love.
Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
High Point Land Company, your trusted land partner in Algona. Call 515-320-2491.
Sponsoring this broadcast on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Some of the most significant power outages in recent years have been caused by extreme cold weather and severe storms. Whether it's snow, ice, or extreme wind, don't be caught in the dark. At Murphy Farm Services, our top-of-the-line Generac or Cummins generators will automatically power your home in the event of a power loss. Already have a standby generator? Call us today to get on our preventative maintenance list to ensure your machine is running at its maximum efficiency. Contact your local certified ag, electrical, and generator sales and service dealer. Murphy Farm Services, delivering the power you need when you need it.
Hey Bulldog fans, this is Maya Lentz. You're listening to Algona Girls Basketball on KLGA.
Algona has the basketball to start the fourth quarter, leading 51-14. As Lentz is down in the right corner right now, she drives by Gonzalez, fights at the shot and puts it in. Over the top of the help defense by Braun, Lentz is the fourth Bulldog in double digits as she has 10 points tonight.
Really elevated on that shot, got the ball up high.
Algona's outscored Mason City 26-0 in the second half after that 24-zip third quarter. Riverhawks turn the ball over again as Van Tiger comes into the front court and passes to Van Otterloo. Inside to McLaughlin. McLaughlin hooks it up, but missed the shot left as Braun tracks it on the rebound on the far side baseline. Latham back into 4 fouls for Mason City. 5 points tonight as the Riverhawks had a tough time getting shots off without Latham in the lineup for parts of that third quarter when she got banged up with an injury and when she picked up that 4th foul. Latham drives inside. Tough angle on the shot, no. Braun cleanup. Can't put that one in. And rebound is controlled by Van Tiger, who hugs that ball and then gets fouled by Braun on the play. So Bulldogs will get it back here. First foul of the quarter against Mason City, and the third personal foul by Braun. Her third foul. She's been held scoreless so far tonight for the Riverhawks as the Bulldogs have the ball aiming towards the bucket on the right side. McLaughlin gets it left to Van Tiger, inside to Dunning. Dunning with a nice pivot and a score! Yeah. Take the defender out of her shoes there as Dunning leads Algona 14 points, and it's 55-14. A bullet pass deflected away. It pinballs out of bounds as it will stay with Mason City. Well, Greg, I always say the start of the high school basketball season on the girls' side, it always feels like football season. You play that Tuesday game against Forest City before Thanksgiving break, then it's a week off to get ready and prepare for the next game. Now, I'm sure for the Bulldogs, the weather probably threw a wrench into some of those preparation plans, as you heard Coach McLaughlin talk about in the pregame today with Brian Wilson, but Bulldogs are looking sharp here in the second half after settling into this game. No. There's a pivot and a score there by Braun as she got it over Limbaugh, and it's 55-16.
Braun, the one senior on the floor tonight for both squads, and that was a nice move.
Mason City for their first points of the second half. Here's McLaughlin diving to the bucket and scoring.
Again, some nice interior passing by the Bulldogs, really attacking in the lane, keeping their eyes open for teammates.
Algona held Mason City scoreless for about the first 10 minutes here of the second half before that last bucket, as it's 57-16. Gonzalez out on the left wing, dribbles across the foul line, pivots around and deals the ball to Latham. Latham working right across the foul line, towards the left now, bounces to Donald. Pulls the trigger on a three-point ball, but missed it right, and Limbaugh grabs the rebound for Algona. Limbaugh's got to be approaching double-double territory here tonight, or very close to it, as Dunning had her pass swatted away by Latham. Latham stays with the play and pokes it out of bounds. We'll say Latham last touched it, who was campaigning that ball's off of Dunning.
That was very close.
McLaughlin from in front of the Bulldog bench. Gonzalez guards the inbound pass as Spear catches the inbounds just inside of that half-court line. Caldwell playing physical defense here on Spear, poking at the ball as she unloads it to McLaughlin. Driving and kicking to Van Otterloo. Squares for a three, but left it short. And rebounding in the middle of the lane is Caldwell. It's been a tough three-point shooting night so far for Algona, in spite of this 57-16 lead as Latham drives by everyone, got to the rack and scored it.
That was a pretty move and a difficult shot, really. Got very deep there, but a nice little scoop shot.
Yeah, Dunning was setting up like she wanted to take a charge there, but Latham scooted right by her as it's 57-18. Limbaugh barreling her way in on the right side baseline, kicks out to Dunning. Dunning weaves through traffic. Can't quite get that shot to fall. Got her on this back, power dribbles and scores.
Almost looked like an attempt at a self-assist there. She just kind of launched the ball up off the rim and knew it wasn't going to go in. She's right there for the offensive putback.
Yeah, this will give you some space. 59-18 Bulldogs. Drive from left side by Caldwell. That shot got tipped on the way up, and coming out with the basketball is Dunning. Now Van Otterloo up to Spear. Spear looking inside for McLaughlin. Nothing home as the Bulldogs working around the perimeter. Dunning, three-point try. Boom. Count it! Big night for Bella Jo Dunning, and it's 62-18 Bulldogs. This is a career high in points, as Dunning had 17 last year against Webster City. Free-point ball by Mason City rims out, but the rebound is controlled by Donald on the offensive glass. 62-18 Bulldogs. 3:15 left in the fourth. Mason City driving in of Caldwell. Shot puts up the left-handed shot and gets it to go off glass to make it 62-20. Algona is going to call the Dogs here and bring in the reserves for tonight. Bulldogs are going to go to the bench here with Kylie Crone coming into the ball game alongside Bella Fairbanks. Gabby Van Tiger back in. Cassidy Bierstedt also checking in. And Malia Divis for Algona, rounding out the Bulldog 5 as the starters will check out for tonight. Mason City will respond with some lineup changes as well. Latham currently still on the floor, but she's joined by Onder, who we saw earlier. Falls on the floor for Mason City. Dykstra as well, and rounding out the Mason City 5, Sophia Schonenberg, a senior for the Riverhawks who has not seen the floor yet tonight. So Bulldogs have it with 2:59 left. Getting into the depth of some work here. Bierstedt top of the arc, dribbling right hand and giving off to Van Tiger. Algona playing their first of 3 games this week as they'll open up NCC play. Drive to the bucket, but no good on left-handed layup for Crone. But Van Tiger dribbles out of the pack with the offensive board. Crone top of the arc, 3-point ball, missed it left. Fight for the rebound, and Latham is able to eventually rip it away from multiple Bulldogs scrapping at that basketball. Outlets up to Falls, driving right in the paint, Falls to the bucket, and Falls will draw the foul. So after tonight, Greg, the Bulldogs will be 1-1, but then things really get heated up here as the defending NCC champions will take on Iowa Falls Alden, who, talking to Coach McLaughlin before the year, he feels that's going to be one of the bigger NCC tests this year for Algona. Then they'll play Charles City, who, of course, is in the process of becoming an NCC member on Saturday. So Friday, Saturday, it'll be the first back-to-back here for this Bulldog basketball team as we finally kind of hit the full send here of the basketball schedule. First free throw was no good for Falls. As the score right now, 62-20. Second free throw by Falls. That one rims out, and Crone vacuums in the rebound. But also has to feel good for the Bulldogs to be winning by this margin because, as you know, Greg, last year, Bulldogs made a habit of a lot of close games, including a 1-point win over Mason City when these teams matched up in February of last season. Bierstedt on the drive. There's a little collision there and a foul called against Mason City. Bulldogs last year played in 13 games that were decided by 10 points or less. And they had a very good 10-3 record in those games, but I'm sure Coach McLaughlin is fine of tonight's outcome as well.
Yeah, Mason City was one of them, as you mentioned. I think Bulldogs led by 7 going in the last quarter, but it got interesting at the end.
Alana Davis, the freshman, has checked in for Mason City with 1:52 left to go in this one. Van Tiger on the right wing for Algona. The Bulldogs up by 42 right now. Top of the arc to Crone. Crone pivots around and delivers the ball to Bierstedt. Splits 2 defenders on the drive. Got in a little out of control there and missed the shot. Van Tiger cleanup won't go, and Falls wrestling for the rebound, is able to grapple that ball away from Crone with 1:33 left. Riverhawks have the ball down on the right corner. Schonenberg wearing the bright orange shoes. Actually, that was caught up for Mason City. The drive is blamed by Dykstra. Had that shot tipped, and coming out of it with the basketball is Van Tiger. A lot of deflections tonight. Some block shots, some stolen passes by the Bulldogs.
There we go.
Here's a feed inside of Bierstedt. A great find. She put it in and drew the foul. Bierstedt with a chance for a 3-point play off the Crone pass, and it's 64-20 Algona.
Bierstedt did a nice job of using the left hand on that shot because the right side was really covered up. She was deep.
Bierstedt with the first varsity field goal after getting her first varsity point earlier tonight for the made free throw. This free throw rims out, and a scrap for the rebound as Davis had it there for Mason City, but she stepped out along the baseline. So 1-4 and ticking here, 1:04 and ticking here on the running clock. As remember, it's a boys-girls doubleheader tonight, so stay with us here on Hometown Radio KLGA as the Bulldog boys open up the season against Mason City here in about 15 minutes once this one wraps up. Bulldogs with the basketball. It is Crone. Works it around to the left to Van Tiger. Now over to Fairbanks on the wing. 44 seconds left in this game. Top of the arc to Divis. Now to Crone in the paint. Crone barreling inside in a thicket of defenders. Tried to pivot and pass to Fairbanks in the corner, but shuffled the shoes. And it does not help that it's those ocean-colored bright blue shoes that really stood out to the officials.
Yeah, they're easy to pick out.
25 seconds left in this one. Shot clock off for Mason City as Algona leads at 64-20. Davis gets it up top to Cotta. On to the left wing to Dykstra. 15 seconds left. As the Riverhawks have been held to just 6 points here in the second half, all in the fourth quarter. 3-point ball by Schonenberg is short. It'll deflect out of bounds, and that is going to do it for tonight. Final 5 seconds will tick away, and the Bulldogs will put their first win of the season in their back pocket. Final score tonight, Algona 64, Mason City 20, and the Bulldogs are on the board. With the win, Algona moves to 1-1 on the season. Mason City will fall to 0-3. A well-rounded night here for the Bulldogs. 4 players scoring in double figures and a stifling defensive effort. We'll step aside for a couple of quick messages. We'll wrap it up with the final stats and a preview of the boys' game, all coming up here on Hometown Radio KLGA and the AHS Broadcasting YouTube live stream.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
More Sports Club members bringing you this game.
North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East in Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest.
Oakcrest Funeral Service, celebrating a life lived.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair, service is the difference.
Billy Offerman, your State Farm agent in Algona. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Schindler Lawn Care and Landscaping, 515-320-3840 or schindlerlawncare@gmail.com.
Signworks Inc. for all your signage needs and printed apparel. Stop in or call 295-9544.
All sponsoring this broadcast on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
We've got more Sports Club members.
Greg Penning and Company, certified public accountants, where everyone counts.
Holmes Animal Clinic. Animals large and small, they love them all.
Hy-Vee, use the Fuel Saver card. Fill your cart, fuel your car.
J&J Custom Meats, continuing the traditions in Whittemore.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for healthcare.
Lichter's Garage Door Service, a reputation you can trust.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Engineered Farm Drainage, specializing in drainage tile solutions. Visit them on Facebook or engineeredfarmdrainage.com.
All sponsors of this game broadcast. For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
We've got more Sports Club members bringing you this broadcast.
Chemco Tires, they're all you need to know about tires and service.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
Reeb's Wicked Good Bar and Grill, for wicked good food, drinks, and service, you gotta go to Reeb's.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Sway City, and the surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy services.
Algona Pizza Ranch, there's so much to love.
West Bend Ford, leading your service, new and used vehicle needs.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
Tyler Lance alongside Greg Stewart, wrapping up game number 1 of our basketball doubleheaders. The Algona Bulldog girls defeat the Mason City Riverhawks 64-20 in their home opener. The Bulldogs improved to 1-1 on the season, while Mason City falls to 0-3. Early on, a slow start for the Bulldog offense, outscoring Mason City 8-5 in the first quarter, but things started to get on track in the second. Bulldogs with a 19-9 scoring advantage in quarter number 2, taking a 27-14 lead into halftime. Then in the second half, it was all Algona. They outscored Mason City 24-0 in the third quarter and 13-6 in the fourth. When the dust settled, the Bulldogs had a 37-6 scoring advantage in the second half and a 64-20 win. They did it, of course, tonight with great defense, forced a lot of turnovers against Mason City, so we'll talk about here in just a little bit. They did it as well with balanced scoring on offense. 19 points by Bella Jo Dunning, a career high to pace the Bulldogs. Hayden McLaughlin scored 14 points. Kate Limbaugh had 12, and Maya Lentz had 10. Anna Latham, the leading scorer of 7 points for Mason City. Well, Greg, I'll start here as we begin our post-game wrap-up. I think one of the most encouraging things for Algona in this game is that it wasn't just one player that you were relying on offense. Things did get a little Hayden McLaughlin-centric against Forest City in the opening game, which that's understandable. She's the only returning starter. The players have a comfort getting her the ball, especially in late game situations in a close game like that. But to see 4 players in double digits today for Algona, that's a very positive sign for the offense when you have so much change in your lineup.
Yeah, very, very well said there. That is a big factor for the Bulldogs, that more players are involved in the offense, scoring, have the confidence to shoot the ball. And I thought the ball movement for Algona was really very good against Mason City's defense. Get the ball inside where the Bulldogs had an advantage all night long, and really made it pay off. That, and you mentioned turnovers. Goodness, part of that was Mason City's inexperience against a little bit of pressure defense from Algona, but a lot of it was hustle by Algona. There was no margin for error on a pass because the Bulldogs were going to be there to tap it or knock it loose and get the steal. And as a result, I've got Mason City with 24 turnovers in the ball game. Algona with just 7. So there's a huge factor there. Take care of the ball yourself. That's 17 extra possessions for Algona right there. And then, as you mentioned, the rebounding. The Bulldogs really did a nice job on the boards tonight. I've got them with, again, unofficially, 16 offensive rebounds, 8 in each half, and a huge advantage on the boards. Again, unofficially, 38 to 23 on the boards. Big advantage for the Bulldogs. So when you control the boards like that, are able to get the ball inside yourself, and then turn the other team over 24 times, you're probably going to have a huge advantage in shot attempts, and that indeed was the case tonight. Algona 66 field goal attempts to just 35 for the Riverhawks. So when you get an extra 30 shots of the bucket, you're probably going to win the ball game, and as it turned out tonight, you're probably going to win fairly easily, because on top of that, Bulldogs made 42% of their shots for the night, 28 out of 66. The Riverhawks just 23% shooting, which is kind of where they've been here early in the season. They're struggling for sure. 8 out of 35. Neither team shot the 3 very well. The Riverhawks made just 1 out of 13 attempts. For Algona, 4 went down out of 20. So just 20% shooting from outside the arc for Algona. But that's something that, again, I think as the season moves on is going to pick up a little bit. And with the strength the Bulldogs have inside, and will have against several teams, I believe, they're going to get some nice open looks out there. So it's just a matter of spotting up, getting your rhythm, going straight up with the ball, and those shots will start falling a little bit higher clip. Also, the free ones weren't necessarily free tonight. 3 out of 6 for the Riverhawks, and 4 out of 11 for the Bulldogs from the line. So there's another place that the Bulldogs can clean up a little bit. But number one, I think, is the defensive intensity and energy. No matter who was on the floor, there wasn't any decrease in that defensive intensity, and the Bulldogs, that's going to help them a lot, certainly. And then that and the passing. I thought the interior passing was very good. The alertness, looking for teammates, cutting down the lane. Bulldogs are able to get it inside repeatedly. So nice first win for the season, and probably be quite a few more to come.
It is a nice first win for Algona, and I think one of the things you were looking at coming into this game was the inexperience of both teams. Obviously, we talked about playing times with Algona, 4 out of 5 starters graduating from last year. Mason City, 3 out of 5 starters graduating. So these were 2 different teams than the ones that matched up February of last season. But the thing I'd say for the Bulldogs, through 2 games, they're not playing like an inexperienced team. Again, they gave Forest City, a very good Forest City team, a tough ball game. They really stayed composed for most of it, besides one big run at the end of the first half by the Indians. And then today against Mason City, Algona, they played like the more experienced team, just with the way they were aggressive on defense, pressure, knocking the ball away. It seemed like the Bulldogs, they were the enforcer of the energy, the pace, the effort in this game, whereas Mason City, they were kind of a little bit more reactive, maybe a little more tentative, especially on the offensive side. And, you know, it's okay to be inexperienced early in the season. It's okay to be working through a few issues like Mason City is right now. But as we know, they're going to be playing a Class 4A schedule, which that's going to be pretty unforgiving. So they're a young team that is probably going to have to grow up fast here as the season goes on.
Yeah, I think you saw the benefit of playing time from last year. Algona has only one starter back, but they had some girls that got some significant minutes last year. And tonight, that I thought really started to show up. The start of this ball game, neither team really very comfortable, I didn't think. The Bulldogs, I mentioned, had only 7 turnovers for the game, according to my stats. 4 of those in the first quarter, where they only scored 8 points, only made 4 out of 17 shots. So the first quarter was really kind of sluggish. Starting the second quarter, the tide started to turn, and you could see the Bulldogs really starting to take control of this ball game. And then the third quarter, wow. That was almost complete domination in the third quarter. 24-0 quarter is not something you see very often, regardless who you're playing and how much experience they have. So Bulldogs really put it together, I thought, very well in that third quarter. And as you mentioned, several girls contributing, and those are all positive signs for this Bulldog team moving forward.
So Algona has the first win of the season on the board as they improve to 1-1 with this 64-20 win over Mason City. Up next for Algona's girls team, they will play against Iowa Falls Alden on Friday in their Northwestern Conference opener. They're also going to play against Charles City on Saturday here in this 3-game week. Well, coming up, we're going to shift things over to the boys' game as Algona takes on Mason City. The Riverhawks 0-1 after a loss yesterday and a hard-fought game against Gilbert. Bulldogs playing in their first game of the season. We'll step aside for a few messages from our sponsors, and we'll preview this game coming up next after this on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. When you come in, your family.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. We meet by accident.
Algona Livestock. Sales every Monday.
Weikert Realty, the 515 agency. A fresh approach to real estate.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush beats a full house.
Cotton Grave Farm Management and Land Realty. Trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
Back here from Algona High School as we get ready for boys basketball action. It's the season opener for the Algona Bulldogs as they take on the Mason City Riverhawks. Again, I'm Tyler Lance alongside Greg Stewart as we now preview tonight's matchup between the Bulldogs and the Riverhawks. Algona coming off an 8-14 season last year as they placed 5th in the NCC. Mason City last year, 9-13. They were second place out of 6 teams in the Iowa Alliance North Division. As we mentioned, the Bulldogs have not played a regular season game yet. Mason City did play yesterday against Gilbert. A wild game, 73-69. Gilbert was the final score in that one as Mason City got 23 points by Owen Rickers and a double-double of 17 points and 10 rebounds by Marcel Whitner. Meanwhile, for Algona, they bring back 4 of their 5 starters from last season, but that one loss, Greg, it was a big one. 554 points from Ben Helmers last season for the Bulldogs, 26.4 points per game. He has now graduated, so the Bulldogs starting lineup, many of the same faces, but it's going to be a different style of play now that the defense, instead of honing on the Ben Helmers, they're going to be turning their attention to guys like Evan Alley, Jacob Burns, and Nathan Mansky, all of whom started last year for the Bulldogs, but obviously the scoring burden goes up, and that burden is spread around the team here with the graduation of Ben Helmers last season.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a similar situation really with the girls, although they weren't as dependent on one player. Lauren McLaughlin certainly garnered a lot of attention last year. And so now this year's team has to adjust. Different people need to step up and take care of the scoring. Same now we're going to see with the boys, but only to a greater extent because Helmers was a special talent inside and had some huge nights for the Bulldogs. Drew most of the attention of the defense, but also drew most of the attention of the offense. Players always look for Ben, you know, and because he can do so many things for you inside. But he's not there now, so now you've got probably a more balanced attack, and a number of people are going to need to step up to pick up that scoring gap that's lost with a star like Ben Helmers.
And that's the thing. Guys have to be comfortable with initiating this season because it's going to be different than last year. Ben Helmers, he goes into the lane, 4 defenders collapse on him, and he can kick it out for a 3-point ball, or he can try to score it himself, which he often did against multiple defenders. But this year, different guys are going to have to take initiative to lead this offense at different times, to take big shots, to have the ball in their hands when the whole defense is hanging all over them. So that's an interesting thing here to watch tonight. But when you look at this Bulldog team, a lot of really good athletes, a lot of multi-sport guys, and you're just always looking to say, how can they put it together on the basketball court? Can they get into basketball mode here as quickly as possible and play against what should be a very tough competition here for the Mason City Riverhawks? But again, Greg, what you like about the Bulldogs, you like the speed, you like the athleticism, you like the ability to run the court and play pressuring defense. The things that you're looking out for as potential weaknesses, there just wasn't a ton of three-point shooting last year for Algona, so we'll see if anyone's able to really fill that in this year. And then not a ton of size either for Algona, which is something that Mason City may look to take advantage of tonight as well.
Yeah, that's the Bulldogs really have made their points really on defense most of the time in the last few years. And really, they have a good collection of athletes. They have a lot of speed. They play hard, and they will play hard again tonight. And they look for those turnovers. They look for the run-outs on the other end. And the one dimension that maybe they didn't have quite as polished was that half-court offense and the pure shooter. But that energy is still going to be there. And as we talked about in the girls' game, especially early in the season, the energy and the defense are really what you're looking for. The offense will gradually come along. But I would expect this is going to be a very entertaining ball game because it sounds like Mason City also very athletic, and they're not going to back off at all. I don't believe the Algona Bulldogs are going to back off. This is going to be a very aggressive, hard-played game on the defensive end. And it's just going to be a matter of who can collect the most shots on the opposite end.
And for Mason City, 4 of their 5 starters returned from last year, so a lot of guys who played a lot of basketball with each other. A couple of their key returns include the junior Marcel Whitner, who averaged over 13 points per game, and then Ty Sanchez Evans, big number 45, who you'll see playing inside, who averaged 11 points, 7.7 rebounds per game last year as well. Their point guard, Jameer Falls, he's a guy who dishes out a lot of assists. He returns to this lineup too. So for Mason City, this is a group that's used to playing a lot of basketball with each other, so we'll see how clean the operation can be today against Algona, because I think where the Bulldogs thrived the most last season, Greg, was against teams that turned the ball over. As you know, the Bulldogs, they love to force turnovers and then run off of those turnovers, but sometimes Algona could struggle when they played a team that was more experienced and took good care of the basketball. So I think if you're Mason City, you keep the turnovers down tonight, that's your key to a win. And for Algona, of course, the inverse, you force turnovers to get up to that 15-20 number. That's going to give you a really good chance in tonight's game.
Yeah, like I said, that's excuse me, kind of been the MO for the Algona boys basketball team for several years, and they can be a lot of fun to watch because they bring a ton of energy and they'll come after you all over the court. But the downside of that is if they're unable to collect the points and somebody really takes care of the ball, it can be a struggle sometimes to get many points up on the board.
We'll take a quick look at the starting lineups for both teams heading into tonight's game. First for the Bulldogs and head coach Jared Cecil. In his 6th year as the Algona head coach, his first starting 5 of the season includes the 6-foot senior Evan Alley, the 6'2" sophomore Jacob Burns, the 6'2" junior Nathan Mansky, 6'3" senior Jackson Eishen, and the 6'1" junior Landon Campy. Campy was a regular off the bench last season, but this year moves into the starting 5. For Mason City, their starting lineup in this ball game includes the 6-foot-tall junior Jameer Falls, the 6'4" senior Marcel Whitner, the 6'4" junior Owen Rickers, the 6-foot-tall senior Drayden Witt, and the 6'3" senior Ty Sanchez Evans. That is for Coach Nicholas Trask and the Mason City Riverhawks. These teams did match up last season in February as well. Much like the girls' game, a very close boys matchup. Mason City winning that game 65-62 against Algona. A big night for Ben Helmers in that one, but like we said, Bulldogs will now look to other scoring options in this game. Well, Greg, like we talked about in the pregame of Coach Cecil at halftime of the girls, the Bulldogs did play that scrimmage against Emmetsburg, and as we know, you kind of work out some of the rust, some of the kinks in that scrimmage. We know it wasn't the cleanest performance by Algona in that one, but you hope you at least get some of those first game jitters out in that scrimmage that they played prior to Thanksgiving, even though it didn't count in the standings.
Yeah, and that scrimmage really, the Bulldogs started to pick up some momentum late in that scrimmage as well. So I think it was a good opportunity for the Bulldogs. Emmetsburg has a decent squad, not real tall, but they put a lot of good defensive pressure on. So the Bulldogs had some opportunities to deal with that, and it's always positive when you get on the court with somebody else other than your bench, and find out better just where you are and what you need to work on.
Well, the Algona Bulldogs, they are down to our right, being ready to be introduced, wearing the white uniforms. It has the red trim, red numerals front and back of the jersey, and the red Algona outlined in gray. Mason City, they're wearing red uniforms. Red is the base color of the jersey pants and the jersey tops. Mason City written in black, outlined in white. It's the Mason above the number 3, and then the City below the number 3 on the jersey of Marcel Whitner down beneath us. The Riverhawk jerseys have the black trim on the shoulders and on the side of the pants as well. And there's a little bit of a darker coloring up top along the sleeves of the jerseys here for this Mason City Riverhawk team. Like I said, the Riverhawks, they're coming off a game just played against Gilbert, a very good Gilbert team, but Mason City falls short in that one, 73-69. They're looking for their first win tonight against Algona. Meanwhile, the Bulldogs, they fully launch into the season starting today. A couple of tough tests this week, obviously tonight against Mason City, and then a Saturday game against Charles City, who the Bulldogs have always played some great games against as well. Well, Greg, you've got Evan Alley going out there on the floor right now, one of the seniors for this Bulldog team. And boy, you just love to see him coming off the football season healthy. Obviously, he brings that electrifying speed to this Bulldog team. When you talk about multi-sport athletes, he's one of the first guys you're looking at. That great speed. If he can kind of harness it and keep his game under control while still playing fast, he's another guy who could really step up and play a big role this season for the Bulldogs.
Oh, absolutely. He's got so much speed, so much quickness. He can do some things for you in a hurry. Jacob Burns, just introduced there. There's a kid who has a really nice outside shot. So when you talk about getting some shooting, if he gets into a groove, he can hit some big shots.
Well, Jacob Burns is a guy who last year he was really one of the only three-point threats for Algona, so he played a lot on the perimeter, but he's a good ball handler as well. He can make plays with the ball in his hands, so when you lose a guy like Ben Helmers, you could see Burns be a lot more than just a spot-up shooter this year as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Mansky, Eichen's a veteran, and Campy came off the bench last year. Campy really has some good skills himself, so look for him to just gradually build up confidence out there in the floor. Again, that's one of the big things about having a scrimmage and opening the year with a non-conference game, so you can find out just exactly where you are before you head into conference play.
At midcourt, Jackson Eichen for Algona. Marcel Whitner for Mason City. Whitner taps it backwards, but the ball is tracked down by Burns, who throws it to Mansky. Mansky off the glass, no. The follow-up and good by Campy. What a play there by Algona, using their speed to their advantage. 2-0 Bulldogs to start things off.
Boy, give Campy a big star for following that play, getting the tip in.
Drayden with the ball on the string for Mason City, hands off to Falls. Picked up by Campy on defense. Falls driving down the lane. Falls is going to take it himself, scoops it up and draws the foul. He missed on the shot, but Falls will shoot 2 free throws there off a quick drive to the bucket.
Yeah, quick, really good with the left hand. Very smooth and very quick in on the left side of the lane there, so he's going to be a challenge to defend.
Mason City made 15 out of their 17 free throws in that loss against Gilbert as Falls misses on the first foul shot.
Good call.
Falls, the junior, 63.6% from the line. As you Algona fans can thank me for the broadcaster's jinx. I think I did something similar in the girls' game too, so it's alive and well even here in game 1 of the season. And the second free throw bounces in. The friendly rubber rim for Falls, and it's 2-1 Algona. Nathan Mansky at the controls right now for the Bulldogs. Mansky 9.5 points per game last season, the lead returning scorer, as he had the ball stripped away by Mason City as Rickers almost took it. Bulldogs got it back though, and the pass goes to the bucket where Eichen lays it in.
I'll give Mansky credit for that one. Really scrappy there. He had a double team on him, knocked the ball away, but he came away with it, and the Riverhawks had overcommitted.
Whitner has the ball in his hands right now, driving in right side. Bulldogs trying to strip the ball away, but got a little overzealous defensively as they're going to call Campy getting the wrist of Whitner for the Bulldogs' second team foul.
Yeah, second one on Campy too here in less than 1 minute of play. So Campy trying to defend that quick player, gets 2 quick fouls.
Walker checks in for Algona. Levi Walker, the 6-foot-tall senior, balls him out of the Sanchez Evans as he deals outside the Falls. Back into Sanchez Evans, drops it and picks it up. Beyond the perimeter to Falls. He'll catch, he'll release, and he'll bury the 3-point shot. As he lifts the 3 fingers on his right hand up in the air, Mason City has tied the game at 4. Riverhawks not a great 3-point shooting team last year, just 28%, similar to the Bulldogs. Here's Alley fighting Mansky, attacking the bucket and scoring. 6-4 Algona. Bulldogs driving downhill to the bucket early in this game as Whitner will bring the ball across the Bulldog logo, guarded by Alley. Deals off to Witt. Slicing between white jerseys. Loses the ball into the hands of Whitner. Whitner looking for space. Ladles up the shot. No good. Eischen rebounds. And he's fouled by Sanchez Evans. The first foul by the Riverhawks with 6:25 on the clock. And you're looking for Mason City. You've got to force them to be one and done because Sanchez Evans, he brings a lot more size than anyone on the Bulldog half of the court. So you force Mason City to be one and done. That is a win for the Bulldog defense.
Sanchez Evans listed at 6'3", but he's a sturdy 6'3".
Packs a lot of muscle into the lane. Cross-court feed to Alley. Left side as he throws it up the leg of Rickers out of bounds. Bulldogs will keep possession. Alley down to our left. A good Mason City student section right there at the edge of the Riverhawk bench on that side of the court. 6:13 on the clock as Alley will trigger the inbounds play. Into Mansky as Rickers is poking at the ball, and he rips it away from Nathan Mansky. A turnover by Algona as Rickers, the junior, comes the other direction. Rickers towards the lane, spins, looking for Whitner on the right side wing. Alley staying low in front of Whitner. Whitner wants to drive, and he shuffled the shoes. He traveled with the basketball. That's something we saw called very tightly in the girls' game, and that is going to continue here in this boys' matchup tonight.
Now Evan Alley on defense that time. Quickness on quickness.
Alley running point for Algona with 5:55 on the clock. Bucket is towards the left of the Bulldogs working across half court. Burns in the corner. He'll catch. He'll release. Free ball swirls out of the drain. Ball gets tapped to the boundary where it's picked up by Sanchez Evans. Alex down the floor. Saving the play by Walker right to Mansky, but Riverhawks take the ball back. It's a Rickers free from the boundary. That one's no good. A scrap for the rebound. It's knocked out of bounds. One official says out of bounds, but the other one comes in and says foul on Algona, as that'll be their second foul of the ball game. And they are going to get that one on Eischen on that play. Riverhawks will go to the bench with Drew Hobart coming in for the first time today. The 5'10" senior, as he'll replace Sanchez Evans. Riverhawks put one player in each corner of the paint as Falls bounces it in. It's stolen away by Alley, but it's thrown to the boundary. Was it tipped on the way out by Mason City? It was not, as the Riverhawks will get the ball back.
Good effort to get the knock away there. Boy, a lot of activity already.
Great way to say it. Some high-flying action early in this one. Two very athletic teams. With 5:30 on the clock. 6-4, Algona on top of Mason City. Here's Whitner finding the foul line, working against Eischen. He stops, he goes, he deals into the corner. Rotation over to Rickers. Rickers looking underneath to Whitner, poked away by the Bulldogs. Mansky looks out to Eischen. Eischen shovels to Burns out beyond the perimeter as Burns will travel with the basketball. A turnover by the Bulldogs. Just getting a little sped up there on that possession as score stays 6-4. Bulldogs will show a little pressure here in the backcourt as Witt inbounds the Falls on the baseline down to our left. Falls will bring it across half court against Mansky. A lot of different ball handlers available for this Mason City team as Falls works around Mansky, jump stops in the lane. Bulldogs poke the ball away again, but Falls got it back. He pump fakes, and he'll draw the foul. He got Eischen to jump that time, and Falls will shoot 2 more free throws.
Yeah, nice job by Falls. Good job by the Bulldog defense there of not allowing him to get to the basket, but when he got the ball back there, just a little ball fake, got Eischen in the air. Veteran player took advantage of it.
Yeah, Falls played quite a bit in last year's matchup between Algona and Mason City as well, so he converts on the first foul shot. Bulldogs bring Aiden Engel in off the bench. Brooks Kuhlman coming in as well. The senior Engel and the sophomore Kuhlman replace Mansky and Eischen in the Bulldog lineup. 6-5 Algona. Falls wearing the blue shoes, converts on both free throws, and we are tied up at 6. 3 minutes gone in quarter number 1. Burns will be at the controls of the offense for Algona. Deals right to Walker, now into the corner to Kuhlman. Kuhlman in a sandwich, pivoting away from 2 red jerseys. He'll throw the ball out beyond half court, and Mason City will track it down. It is Hobart for the basketball. And we've got another Mason City turnover there as Hobart kind of had a little stop and go.
A little double dribble there. Caught the ball and dropped it again. Mason City very quick on the double team in the corner, so Kuhlman that time got the pass in the corner. Boy, they were on him in a hurry.
Kuhlman, the 6-foot-tall sophomore, has the rock right now. Walking across that white painted half-court line here in this new Bulldog hardwood. Cross-court feed to Burns. Throws back out top to Walker, who shuffles sideways and grabs the basketball. Now Alley down to the right corner, double teamed again. Alley in trouble. Yep. Tried to throw it off a leg, but Falls takes the basketball away. Good double team by Mason City. They will unload a 3-point ball from the right side. High deflection.
hit the cable, but they didn't see it.
They let it play there as it was Nathan Berkeley taking that free as he couldn't knock it down. One and done go the Riverhawks in that possession. Coleman on the left wing dribbles towards the center. Works to the right-handed, passes to Walker. Now back between the circles as working towards the left is Coleman. Works it over to Walker again, rotates corner to Burns. He tries again for three-point land, and that ball is true. 9-6 Algona. Jacob Burns, a good three-point sharpshooter at over 40% last season. Three the other way by Rickers, and he drains it. And he looks at the Bulldogs student section as well. Boy, this is a fun one early on. Tied at 9 apiece as a timeout is called on the floor. 3:47 left in quarter number one with a 60-second timeout. We'll take a brief timeout as well and come back to the Bulldog High School Gymnasium after this on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
High school sports on Hometown Home Country Radio. Brought to you by these sports club members.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce, 2 sauces for all seasons.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
Daylight Donuts, open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
Dump It, Kasuth County's local and reliable waste service provider for commercial and residential customers.
Albert Electric, flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Erpelding Excavating Enterprises. Let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
Fairway, everything's easier, fresher, and faster with Algona Fairway.
All bringing you this game.
Bulldog fans, this is Jacob Burns. You listen to Algona basketball on KLGA.
9-9 tie between Algona and Mason City with 3:47 left in the first quarter. We've seen a quick pace of action. A few turnovers by both sides as there's been a little bit of sloppiness on offense, but we expect this game to stay fast with this track meet between Algona and Mason City. Falls of 6 points to lead all scores for the Riverhawks. 9-9 tie. Algona has the basketball working towards the left. It is Coleman with the ball in his hands right now. Alley rotates it around to Burns, left side. Now back up top to Alley. Looks towards the right and zips it back to the left to Burns with 19 on the shot clock. Returns the ball to the senior Alley. Coleman, the sophomore, on the right side, directing traffic. Ball out near half court to Burns with 13 on the shot clock. Back to Coleman. Bulldogs probing here, but nothing open against the Mason City defense. Out top to Engel with 5 seconds. Bulldogs have to hurry. Right corner to Walker. He hoists the three at the end of the shot clock. That's no good. And the rebound is controlled by Hobart for Mason City. Gets it out quickly to Whitner. Whitner driving in the baseline. Whitner got to the rack and he lays it up and in.
Good quickness there.
Yeah, you give Whitner one step on the baseline and he is gone. His first two of the night. It's 11-9 Mason City. Cross-court feed to Burns on the Bulldog side. To Coleman, that is. Now up top to Burns with 2:51 left in the first. To the foul line to Engel, working his way in. Now out to Alley. Ball shuffled in the corner to Walker. Back inside to Engel. Engel swarmed by red jerseys. Throws it towards the lane to Coleman. Fades back for a three-point ball, but well short. Engel bats it back out to Coleman. Coleman leans in. His jumper's no good. He falls and he scores.
Stick with it. Good lesson right there. Keep on following your shot.
Tied at 11 as Mason City never got in position for the rebound on that play. The shot clock did not reset after that last bucket, so they will go to the scoring table and get that straightened out. Well, Aiden Engel is one of those guys. A new face here for the Bulldogs. Really wasn't part of the rotation last season on this Bulldog basketball team, but this year one of the guys we expect to see here from Coach Cecil's bench. He will check out as the senior Skylar Ostwald comes in. Well, if game one is any indication, Coach Cecil's going a little deeper into the bench this season, Greg.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've seen 9 players, and we're only 5 minutes into the game.
Yeah, usually Coach Cecil keeps those rotations pretty tight. 2, maybe 3 guys off the bench as the shot by Sanchez Evans is no good. He follows his own miss, and he forces that one up and in.
Boy, that's a very strong rebound and put back there.
Like a bull in a china shop as Walker working in from the corner, traveled with the basketball. Bulldogs turn it over as Mason City gets it back up 13-11. Riverhawks right now on the floor. Rickers inbounding. You also have Falls, Hobart, Whitner, and Sanchez Evans. For Algona, it's Alley, Coleman, Walker, Ostwald, and Burns. The drive by Falls deals into the corner to Whitner. He drives in, and Whitner's going to pack it! 15-11 Mason City, as that'll get a roar out of the Riverhawks student section. You could see that one coming as Burns unloads on the three-point ball, rims out no good, and Sanchez Evans elevates for the rebound. Mason City working quickly. Rickers right side, coming off a 23-point game. Mid-range J, and that one's true. 17-11 Riverhawks, and that's the first big momentum swing we've seen so far today.
Yeah, key now is how do the Bulldogs respond? Do they get rattled or do they stay calm?
Going back a possession to go. You feel like dunks are worth more than 1 point as Ali drove in, but he dribbled it off his foot and out of bounds.
Yep.
Bulldogs are going to go for a little bit of a line change here. Owen Noyed coming into the ball game for Algona for the first time. As that bench continues to lengthen. Engel back in as well. You've got Mansky, Burns, and Coleman completing the Bulldog 5 on the floor. Falls a shot in the backcourt by Noyed. As he'll race across half court, deals to Sanchez Evans. Here he comes, flying to the bucket and scoring. Boy, Bulldogs just have to stop the basketball on defense as Mason City is getting points right at the glass. 19-11 Riverhawks. Mansky spinning, losing the ball, recollecting, turns for a jumper and cashes it in.
That's a big basket. Break the momentum just a little bit.
And almost a steal by Burns. Falls through an ill-advised pass about half the length of the court as Burns knocks it out of bounds along the far side.
Yeah, Burns kind of knocked his shin up against the bleachers over there as well. He's all right.
Yeah, there's not much room to work with along the home side of the crowd as far as the bleachers are concerned. Sanchez Evans catches on the perimeter, looks
nice
inside,
pass.
A great pass, and he will miss on the layup, but this is going to be a goaltend.
Yep.
Count the bucket for Drew Hobart. Bulldogs touched the backboard while that ball was still going in. Boy, Sanchez Evans just manipulated defense with his eyes, didn't look inside, and he found Hobart there for the no-look pass. 21-13 Mason City. They are clicking on offense coming out of that previous timeout. 48 seconds left in the first quarter as a foul by Owen Rickers getting overzealous there on the defense against Nathan Mansky on the perimeter.
That's only the second foul on the Riverhawks here in the first quarter.
4 fouls by Algona, 2 by Mason City. First personal on Rickers. Mason City calls for Dane Hansen off the bench as a 6'3" senior dusts off the cobwebs and replaces Ty Sanchez Evans. Both teams working into that bench so far in the first quarter. Burns has the basketball for Algona, wearing the red and white shoes, matching the Bulldog jersey. Deals left side to Engel. Works around Mansky. Players crash to the deck as Mansky unloads the pass to Coleman. Back to the near side is Mansky. Mansky blows a tire, tried to keep his dribble, and it's a foul on Rickers, called for a second personal.
Yeah, that one kind of ticky-tack maybe, but called because Mansky slipped and went down, and the official's going to say that was because of the bump. Rickers following the official there, asking about it as he comes out of the game with his second foul.
Witt checks back in for Mason City to replace Rickers. 21-13 Riverhawks. Inbound to the backcourt. Witt almost stole it away.
Yeah.
Tipped it out of bounds along the far sideline as he cut in front of Evan Alley.
Riverhawks have great quickness at just about every position.
Shot clock is now off. 29 seconds on the game clock in quarter one for the Bulldogs as Alley has the ball on a string right now. Alley sees an opening. He drives in, fights up the shot, and drew the foul. With a burst of speed to the basket as Mason City's called for their 15th foul.
And I'd say that was before the shot on the floor.
Or beg your pardon, that was only the 14th foul by Mason City. So both teams now have 4. That personal foul going against Jameer Falls, his first. Tice Washington, the 6'4" freshman, is getting ready to check in right now for Mason City to get his first varsity action as he will replace Falls. Riverhawks making sure none of their key starters who have a foul or more pick up one here at the end of the first quarter. Coleman to inbound for Algona. Coleman zips the pass in to the elbow. Walker airballs the jumper, and it's Washington with the rebound. Mason City can take the last shot if they want it. 16 seconds left on the game clock as Whitner comes into the front court. Whitner driving down the lane. He takes it right to the rack. Kisses off the glass. Offensive foul on Whitner, who can't believe it. Evan Alley spilled to the deck for Algona as he took a knee to the gut that time. Bulldogs get the ball back. That'll be Whitner's first personal foul, and the points get wiped off the scoreboard. Now it's Algona's turn to potentially take the last shot. Here's Mansky working for the basketball. Mansky far side of the court with 3 seconds. Unloads on the tray, off the back of the iron, and sailing in for the rebound is Drew Hobart at the end of the first quarter. Mason City for good late push as they have the advantage at the end of quarter number 1. Mason City 21, Algona 13 as we take a timeout on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
Where you bank matters. Hi, I'm Sherry Binkin at Security State Bank, and we're relationship bankers. We get to know our customers and understand their financial needs. We're locally owned and operated, which means family, community, and service always comes first. So come to Security State Bank. We'll treat you like family. Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security. Security State Bank.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons have maintained one mission to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
Bulldog fans, this is Nathan Mansky. You're listening to Algona basketball on KLGA.
Start of the second quarter from Algona High School in the season opener for the Bulldogs. The Mason City Riverhawks right now on top 21-13 as I'm Tyler Lance alongside Greg Stewart. Greg, offensively, a tough time for the Bulldogs just to maintain control of the basketball. Mason City with the good quick hands poking at it and making it hard for Algona to maintain their dribble against a turnover-forcing defense.
Yeah.
As we resume, quick action here is slicing inside Witt and scoring.
Yeah.
23-13 Mason City as Witt took it in there on the rack attack, veering into the paint. Bulldogs come the other direction on their first possession of Campy in the ball game. Feeds into Eischen, cutting to the basket. That shot got tipped on the way up. Bulldogs trying to bat the ball in. It's knocked out of bounds, and Algona will keep it. That shot was bothered by Dane Hansen defending the paint for Mason City, and the Bulldogs still trying to get it going offensively here. Hansen will retie the shoes. Eischen inbounds from the baseline. Eischen, Campy, Alley, Mansky, and Walker in the Algona lineup. The lob into Mansky, he catches, doesn't bother landing, can't get the shot to drop though, and Washington rebounds for Mason City.
That's tough. Had a good opportunity there. Mansky gets up so high.
Inside it goes.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Offensive foul on Dane Hansen, who was lowering the shoulder and jockeying for position.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Second offensive foul call today against Mason City. We saw the earlier on Whitner at the end of the first quarter. Hansen picking up his first personal foul, at first team foul of the quarter. As the Bulldogs will have free reign to bring the ball into the front court. Mason City waiting back in their half-court defense. It's Witt picking up Campy. Campy works towards the right, passes to the cutting Mansky. It got deflected away, but Mansky got it back. Rises for mid-range J, but left it short. Rebound batted off the glass. Fight for the ball, and Mansky grabs it for Algona as he feeds outside to Alley, and then Alley traveled on the drive. Tough time here tonight getting the drive going. A couple of travels called against the Bulldogs, and Mason City maintains a 10-point lead as Burns comes in to replace Alley in the Bulldog lineup.
Well, again, a team like Mason City plays so fast that it's very easy to get playing really fast yourself, and at times maybe just a tad too fast.
Yeah, that is the thing when you're an Algona team playing against another fast team, is there's the drive inside by Witt and the score. 25-13 Riverhawks. The Bulldogs do sometimes get sped up a little bit too much when they play against another fast team such as Mason City. Working the possession right now offensively is Campy. Bullets down to the baseline to Eischen. Out to the corner. Free ball Burns. Rims out no good. Rebound pinballs around. And Eischen able to deflect it out to himself out beyond the three-point line. Second chance for the Bulldogs with a fresh 35-second shot clock. Walker in the right corner working against Washington. The poke away by Witt on the double team, but Bulldogs maintain possession. It's Burns sidestepping, feeding Mansky inside. Mansky rises, clangs it off the glass, no good, and Washington grabs the batted rebound.
Boy.
Bulldogs continue to pester Mason City in the backcourt. Running up the floor, it's Hansen. Hansen to the rack. Too strong on the layup as he came in quick there at that. Mansky races the other way. Mansky down the lane. Mansky leans in. That's going to be a charge on Nathan Mansky as he leaned into Drew Hobart that time. And that foul, the only thing slowing down this frenetic, breakneck, up and down the floor pace of this game.
Yeah, that was just a few seconds before shot was taken at the opposite end of the floor. Both teams really flying up and down, really attacking the basket. Nathan Mansky, some tough luck here the last 3 or 4 times underneath the basket. Just hit the rim, but could not get the shot to fall.
This is going to be a full line change for Mason City. 5 new players in the lineup. Leif Lundberg, the senior, in for the first time today. Falls joins him on the floor, as well as Rickers, Berkeley, and Sanchez Evans. Both coaches have gone deep into the bench so far in this ball game. I think we've seen 10 Riverhawks play in this one as Sanchez Evans is on the right corner. He fires on the three and he drains it.
Oh my goodness. The big man.
28-13 Mason City. Sanchez Evans shot 23% on three-point balls last year, but he buried that one. 5:40 on the clock. Walker deals outside to Coleman, but it is poked out of bounds by Rickers, who cut it in front of the pass. Hard to make those cross-court feeds against this quick Mason City defense. And Coach Cecil calls for a timeout for Algona. A 60-second timeout right now as the score is 28-13. We'll take a quick timeout as well of Coach Cecil here on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
Thank you to these sports club members making this broadcast possible.
Runkey Brothers. Experience the Runkey Brothers difference for all your auto service and repair needs.
Strowman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong, keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
Tangle's Salon for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, carrying Steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
Ulrich Construction, let them do the work.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service, call 295-SOFT.
All bringing you this broadcast.
Mason City 28, Algona 13 as the Bulldogs have not scored yet in the second quarter. 5:36 left on the clock as I'm Tyler Lance alongside Greg Stewart. Well, Greg, I made this statement in the girls' game, and I'll say it in the guys' game. It really starts on the defensive end. Of course, the athleticism on offense for Mason City is impressive. We saw that dunk by Whitner earlier in the game, but really, what the Riverhawks are doing, it all starts on the defensive side of the floor.
Yeah, it really does. The Bulldogs have not been able to get anything easy. They've got 3 looks right close to the basket, but all of them contested. All of them glanced off the iron, came down. Had one open 3 look, also hit iron and went out. But Bulldogs need to be patient, take care of the ball, because the Mason City pressure is really something to be concerned about.
They run a double team at Burns, who unloads the ball on your side to Coolman. Back across the way to Burns with 5:28 and rolling on the clock. Coolman left side, looking in, doesn't see anything as he'll work the ball to the right to Campy. Around the arc to Burns. He sidesteps into a 3-point shot, and that one is off glass and rim, but it doesn't go down as the ball gets batted out of bounds.
Back to Algona, should be. Went off Mason City.
And they will call it as last touched by Mason City. Bulldogs do have a fresh 35 as that ball hit the rim. And Burns collects the inbounds pass. And the Bulldogs will try again here off the bucket towards our left. Cross-court feed to Coleman, who faces the bucket. Coleman being pestered by Lundberg. Gets it onto the elbow to Walker. His jumper no good. His follow no good. And Sanchez Evans vacuums in the rebound. Falls will walk the ball up towards half court for Mason City. Bulldogs still have not scored since the first quarters. This is a double-digit plus scoring run for Mason City. The feed into Sanchez Evans. Eischen trying to rake the ball out. He blocks Sanchez Evans, and Walker grabs the basketball.
Hey, good defense by Eischen, taking on the big man.
He was trying to deny the entry pass. Once the entry pass got in there, he was still able to eject the shot. Pass to the baseline on the Bulldog side, knocked out of bounds, intended for Campy. Mason City last touched it as Mansky comes back in for Walker.
Bulldogs have missed their 8 shots from the field here this quarter. 6 of them right in the lane.
Pass is lobbed into Burns, top of the arc with 4:34 on the clock. Approaching the halfway mark in quarter number 2. Campy deep on the right wing, deals into the quarter to Eischen. Eischen working against Sanchez Evans, gets a Mansky screen. Back to Mansky, deals it across the court into the corner to Burns, and Burns shuffled the shoes. Boy, that has killed the Bulldogs so far in this game.
Yep. Just relax a little bit. It's tough when you're playing an up-tempo game like this. Bulldogs have been a little bit more patient the last 2 possessions, but still, you know how quick that defense is, so you want to move quick.
Falls, driving and dealing. He'll find Lundberg. Lundberg into the black painted area, bounces to Sanchez Evans. Across the way it goes. Berkeley 3-point ball. Banks up the glass, no good as Berkeley got it back. Into the corner to Falls. His 3-point shot is ejected out of bounds by Nathan Mansky. Boy, Nathan Mansky, he's 6'2" on the roster, but he jumped up to about 7'2" on that block attempt as Mason City will keep the basketball.
Mansky does get off the floor. I tell you what, he really sailed through on that one.
And he's a guy, we saw a dunk earlier by Whitner from Mason City. Mansky's a guy, if he gets an open floor, he can flush it as well. Sanchez Evans working on the right block, power dribbling, fighting the shot up, no good as Eischen stayed strong on defense. Ball gets tipped around and Eischen controls the rebound for Algona and clears it out to Mansky. Mansky into the paint. Mansky rolling off the fingers.
Are they going to call offense? I think they are, yeah. Yep.
There was a hesitation from the official on the baseline, but the official on the backside said offensive foul.
Yeah, 2 officials looking at one another there, and
they say the one on the backside had a better look at that play.
Yep.
But yeah, that's just good defense by Mason City. I mean, you're anticipating Mansky to come barreling downhill at high speed, and it's hard to redirect or get off course if you're coming in as quickly as Mansky is. Mason City's gotten him twice on that tonight.
Yep, and it's hard as a defender to stay put when you see somebody barreling in like that and not flinch or move a little bit and get the block.
Whitner back into the ballgame for Mason City, has the rock right now. Whitner driving across the foul line, turns around as the Riverhawks work it back outside beyond the perimeter. Falls on the left side. Falls wants to drive into the paint. Passes it into the corner. Look out. It's a Berkeley free, and it's a Berkeley make. 31-13, and it is all Riverhawks here in the second. First free of the night by Berkeley. Bulldogs try to answer. Campy, three, in and out. And rebound is snatched by Sanchez Evans. 7 points by Sanchez Evans so far tonight. Whitner with a double-double against Gilbert has the ball inside the right corner. Whitner to the baseline. Whitner stepping to the bucket, and he lays it in. Working his way through traffic, and it's 33-13.
Boy, he is really athletic. Got through some narrow spaces there. Good body balance.
6 points and a travel on the Bulldog side. Coleman got pinned along the sideline that time as Mason City has Rickers and Berkeley over there right in front of him as Coleman was going out of bounds there. And Algona will expend another timeout here of 2:53 on the clock. And we'll keep it right here at the Algona High School Gymnasium. 33-13 Mason City. They have blanked Algona in this quarter. And the Riverhawks have done a nice job. They're driving aggressively towards the bucket. They're kicking it out to the corner when nothing's there. And they're looking good right now on both sides of the floor.
Yeah, very efficient on offense. They've been able to get to the hoop with their quickness on drives from the corner, drives down the lane. And then they've hit some big threes. So really everything clicking for them. And right now they've got Algona really off balance offensively. They're just unable to collect themselves and had some good looks. The shots just didn't go down. Sometimes they multiply like that. Start getting that in your head a little bit. So this is a good test for the Bulldogs. You know, you've gotten what was a fairly close game now is blown out to 20 points in a hurry here in the second quarter. What kind of character are we going to see out of the Bulldogs? I think you won't see them panic. You won't see them fold. They're going to keep on playing if I know these kids like I think I do.
Well, the thing to remember for Algona, with how fast-paced they play, games can change very quickly.
They can.
As Sanchez Evans catches the edge of the paint, Algona overcame a 20-plus point deficit last year against Charles City as Sanchez Evans hooks and scores. Bulldogs have to do that again today to get back into this one as Sanchez Evans has 9.
Yeah, that was a wild. Oh, there's a.
Burns tried to force that ball into traffic, and Mason City knocks it away for a turnover.
That was a wild game in Charles City last year. We thought it was probably foregone conclusion the Comets were going to handle it, but Bulldogs, fantastic comeback.
Yeah, 25-point second-half deficit erased by Algona as Whitner got deep in the paint that time and drew the foul of 2:21 on the clock. Burns picks that one up for Algona. So that is the point. The Bulldogs have the capability of playing fast and getting back into a game that seems like it's getting out of control, but the problem is they just have not shown a whole lot offensively so far in this one, trailing 35-13 as Whitner will shoot 2 free throws. 17 points, 10 boards for Whitner against Gilbert as he knocks down the first free throw. 67.5% from the foul line last year as Whitner, Mason City's leading scorer. Bulldogs bring Engel back into the ball game with Engel, Mansky, Alley, Campy, and Burns. Second free throw by Whitner, and that one rattles into the cup to make it 37-13 Mason City. Riverhawks show a little pressure here in the backcourt. Bulldogs get up ahead to Alley. On the left wing as he'll work back around towards the right and bounce the ball over to Campy. 2:12 left in the first half. Bulldogs still looking for that first bucket of the second quarter. Burns left side, cross-court feed to Alley. Has an open look from three-point land, and Alley swishes it.
First make of the quarter for the Bulldogs. That's a big one.
It comes with exactly 2 minutes on the clock as Evan Alley is on the board for the first time this season, and the score now 37-16. Alley, an 8-point-per-game score last season for Algona. Falls up the controls from Mason City, gets the screen from Berkeley, falls slicing in, jump stopping, putting up the shot, and banking it in. Patient move that time by Jameer Falls. Coach Cecil was calling for a push-off for Algona, but he won't get it. As Mansky catches in the lane, Mansky leans in, tough shot won't go, and Sanchez Evans grabs the rolling rebound. 1:24 left in the first half, 39-16 Riverhawks. Sanchez Evans working on the wing. To Berkeley, he squares up for a three-point shot, and Berkeley finds the bottom of the net.
He's got a nice stroke on the ball.
Man, oh man. Mason City, they did not shoot great against Gilbert. Only 8 of 27 on three-point balls and only 37.7% from the field, but they are shooting pretty well so far tonight.
Yeah.
Alley's pass got deflected out of bounds off a shin of a Mason City Riverhawk as the Bulldogs will keep it.
Pace has been so fast. I haven't been able to add it up as we're going, but we'll get it at halftime here, but they're well above 50%.
Sanchez Evans has 9 points for Mason City. Falls and Whitner have 8 points apiece, while Berkeley has 6 in this balanced Riverhawk scoring attack. Inside to Mansky, ball got stripped away. It went out to Alley. Alley tries the three. It's off the back iron. Rebound to the strong side, right back to Alley as he will pass to Campy. Alley drew the foul on the drive. That'll be number 2 against Mason City. That was not in the act of shooting as the Bulldogs will inbound it. I think the thing that really impresses you about this Mason City team, they've played long stretches with many backups in this game, and there's really no drop-off when they go to their bench and even have multiple guys on the bench in the lineup.
No, you can see the depth of this team and the quickness, not just on the court, but on the bench as well.
The 6'4 junior Ryan bursts into the ball game for the first time as Mason City's played just about 11 guys as Mansky leans in and scores off the inbounds pass.
That was a nice, sharp move by Mansky into the basket. Nice pass.
Bulldogs still trail right now. 34 seconds left in the first half as Falls top of the arc. He'll unload on the three-point ball, left it short, batted off the glass. And the chase is won by Evan Alley as he'll outrace Hampton to the basketball. Alley tries to thread the ball to the cutting angle, but it's intercepted by Mason City with 21 seconds left. Berkeley came out with the ball. It's 42-18 Riverhawks, and Falls will burn some clock here near half court. Shot clock is off. We're down to 10 on the game clock. Bucket is towards the right as Falls works the dribble, guarded by Campy. Down to 6 seconds. Falls gets into the action. Falls steps back, he drives, gets the pass to Burr. Swatted out of there by Engel. Three-point ball by Berkeley at the horn, and that ball's no good. Almost a fortuitous bounce there for Mason City as Berkeley got a decent look off. First half comes to an end as the Riverhawks dominate the second quarter. They lead Algona 42-18 as you move to halftime. We'll come back with the first half stats after this timeout on Hometown Radio KLGA and the AHS Broadcasting YouTube live stream.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game.
Erpelding Voigt & Company CPAs, building wealth beyond taxes.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Farmers State Bank is proud to be part of our community. Offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Feed Mill Coffee Company, Algona's locally owned coffee shop.
Good Samaritan Society Algona, senior housing and services rooted in God's love.
Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
High Point Land Company, your trusted land partner in Algona. Call 515-320-2491.
Sponsoring this broadcast on Hometown Home Country Radio. High school sports on Hometown Home Country Radio. Brought to you by these sports club members.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce, 2 sauces for all seasons.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
Daylight Donuts, open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
Dump It, Kasuth County's local and reliable waste service provider for commercial and residential customers.
Albert Electric, flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Erpelding Excavating Enterprises. Let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
Fairway, everything's easier, fresher, and faster with Algona Fairway.
All bringing you this game.
Some of the most significant power outages in recent years have been caused by extreme cold weather and severe storms. Whether it's snow, ice, or extreme wind, don't be caught in the dark. At Murphy Farm Services, our top-of-the-line Generac or Cummins generators will automatically power your home in the event of a power loss. Already have a standby generator? Call us today to get on our preventative maintenance list to ensure your machine is running at its maximum efficiency. Contact your local certified ag, electrical, and generator sales and service dealer. Murphy Farm Services, delivering the power you need when you need it.
We've got more sports club members bringing you this broadcast.
Camco Tires, they're all you need to know about tires and service.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
Reeb's Wicked Good Bar and Grill, for wicked good food, drinks, and service, you gotta go to Reeb's.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Sway City, and the surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy services.
Algona Pizza Ranch, there's so much to love.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new and used vehicle needs.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
Tough start to the season so far for the Algona boys basketball team as they trail the Mason City Riverhawks 42-18 at the half from Algona High School. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Greg Stewart. Your first half scoring by quarter favored Mason City in the first 21-13, then favored the Riverhawks in the second 21-5 as the Bulldogs did not score their first bucket of the second quarter until a three-pointer by Evan Alley with 2 minutes remaining. Mason City, like we said, they've had a balanced scoring night. It is Ty Sanchez-Evans leading the way with 9 points so far for the Riverhawks, but 8 apiece scored by Jameer Falls and Marcel Whitner. And like we said, both teams, they've gone pretty deep into the bench, but you see 3, 4, 5 points on the board from just about everyone who's played so far today for Mason City. Leading the way with 6 points for Algona is Nathan Mansky. Well, Greg, we expected an athletic Mason City team coming into this ballgame, and that's exactly what the Bulldogs have gotten. This is a team that has a lot of depth. It's got good size, but some really good speed and athleticism. I really think the biggest key, though, for Mason City so far, they're taking pretty good care of the ball on offense. They are winning the turnover battle substantially against Algona, and as we know, when the Bulldogs win the turnover battle, they can really thrive. When they lose the turnover battle, things can get ugly like it did in the first half.
Yeah, that was the case there in that first half. Mason City with really terrific quickness, and deep quickness. As you mentioned, they're able to put other players in the game and maintain the same level of quickness, and got 13 turnovers out of the Bulldogs in that first half. That's way above where you'd want to be, certainly in a ball game, any ball game really. And then on top of it, so efficient on offense. I mean, they use their quickness to get to the basket repeatedly, and as a result, are shooting exactly, according to my stats, exactly double the Bulldogs, 62% from the field for the half for the Riverhawks, where the Bulldogs are shooting 31%. And so you combine that, the extra turnovers, and the double shooting, you're going to have a spread that we have right now, 42-18 here at halftime. First 5 minutes of this ball game really were pretty good, up and down, both teams kind of exchanging blows, but slowly that quickness really started paying off for for Mason City, and getting the basket and getting lay-ins, and then they hit some big threes, which Algona has not been able to do too much. Evan Alley hit one there in the second quarter when they needed it very badly. Gone through quite a scoring drought at that point, other than that, in the second quarter, the Bulldogs repeatedly got underneath the basket or in the middle of the lane, could not get the shots to fall. They went off the board and off the iron, rather, and while the Bulldogs are having to shoot those 4 or 5 foot shots, probably, Mason City's getting to the glass and laying them in. And I think that just a little bit of extra quickness there, allowing Mason City to get right to the bucket and shoot that 62% from the field. When you combine the defensive pressure they can put on you for turnovers with shooting 60%, they're going to be hard to beat like that.
And that is certainly the case as Mason City leads 42-18 at the half. They just kind of had that Bulldog offense twisted into a pretzel for a lot of that second quarter, while the Mason City offense was able to pull away and get that big run to start off the quarter and open this game up to a 42-18 lead. Like we said, the Bulldogs to play at a quick pace. They can score quickly too and try to get back into this ball game, but not going to be easy. They're going to have to start getting some things going on offense, getting a few of those outside shots to drop, as I believe they only had a couple three-pointers there in the first half. And again, when you get those opportunities inside, you got to take advantage. I know it's not easy, obviously. Mason City, they've got the height advantage. They've got Sanchez-Evans, who's a physical force inside, so it'll be tough to score even on those 4 and 5 foot shots right near the basket, but you just have to convert when you get the ball into that painted area against Mason City, and you've got to, frankly, hang on to the ball on offense. That 13 turnover number is one that is definitely going to be too high for the Bulldogs and something that they'll talk about at halftime. So it's been a tough start to this game so far. Opening game of the season, and maybe it helps that Mason City, they're coming off a game against Gilbert as well, so they've kind of got those first game blues out of the way, but for the Bulldogs, a lot to work on here going into half two.
Oh yeah, absolutely there is, but like any opener, it's a great learning opportunity, and while this is kind of a tough, personally, I would rather play a really good team like this because they can show you a lot of things, and I know there's some good teams on Algona's schedule on through the season. Right now, I would say I doubt they're going to see very many that are going to have this much quickness on the floor and really threaten passing lanes the way the Riverhawks have. So I think that's a good lesson for the Bulldogs here coming out. And the other factor that you just mentioned there I think that is kind of significant. The fact that this is Mason City's second game, Algona's first game, not to take anything away from the play. Mason City's played superbly here in the first half. But I think there is a difference there. Sometimes you do have that first game to kind of get some bugs out, and Mason City was able to do that maybe last night a little bit, and feels a little bit more comfortable coming into this one.
They've made themselves at home here in the Bulldog High School Gymnasium, leading 42-18. As we'll break for one more timeout and come back with the second half after this on Hometown Radio KLGA and the AHS Broadcasting YouTube live stream.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. When you come in, your family.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. We meet by accident.
Algona Livestock. Sales every Monday.
Weichert Realty, the 515 agency. A fresh approach to real estate.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush beats a full house.
Cotton Grave Farm Management and Land Realty. Trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
Start of the second half here on Hometown Radio KLGA as the Algona Bulldogs trail the Mason City Riverhawks 42-18. Greg, it's hard to believe this Mason City team last year finished just 9-13. We saw them play Algona in February of last year, a 65-62 Riverhawk win, but it seems like a lot of their guys have taken some steps forward in the offseason. Obviously, this is just one game, but having a lot of the same guys back and playing with each other can be a big benefit, like we've seen so far today for Mason City. And then facing a Bulldog team that, although they have a lot of returners as well, I think they're still figuring out the lineup a little bit, figuring out the rotations, and then trying to just find some sort of flow offensively.
Yeah, and that kind of modifies or adds to the factor of this being the season opener for the Bulldogs. And while the Riverhawks, who have a little bit more experience, also have that first game in their season already out of the way. And this is an impressive looking Mason City team. They're going to be, I would venture to say, above 500 for sure this year.
Yeah,
a lot of things can happen, and the competition in the alliance, but very impressive group.
Yeah, I'm not a betting man, but I take the over on the 9 games they won last year based on what I've seen so far tonight. And, like Coach Cecil said during the interview he did at halftime of the girls' game, I mean, Mason City gave a very good Gilbert team a very tough time in their first game of the season, even though Mason City ultimately came out on the short end of the sticks on that one. Well, Algona has the basketball right now, moving left to right on the radio dial as we get underway in half number 2. It is Campy out there on the wing for Algona, bouncing the pass to Mansky. Down the lane as he shovels to Eischen right side. Eischen swarmed by 2 defenders as Whitner tried to peel the ball out. The pass goes out to Alley. Free-point ball rattles out, and the rebound is reeled in by Rickers for the Riverhawks. It's Rickers, Falls, Sanchez, Evans, Whitner, and Witt as a free-point ball from the corner by Whitner deflects off to Mansky, no good. Mansky for a little pace. Stops the elbow, he re-accelerates, gets down the lane, but misses on the shot. Offensive board for the Bulldogs, though, and can't be able to put that one up and in.
Nice job, Campy, staying with that.
And then leaking out down the floor as Witt got behind the Bulldog defense, and they cannot recover as Witt lays it in. 44-20, as the Bulldogs did not get back in time after that basket.
Oh, boy.
And a lazy pass gets intercepted. Witt running the floor. He went up like he wanted to dunk it, but he'll set off a layup to make it 46-20. Had the Bulldogs hot in pursuit there as Witt now has 8 points. On the left wing for Algona, it's Burns. Bouncing it to Mansky at the foul line. Now outside to Eischen. Works it around to the right beyond the perimeter to Campy for a couple of dribbles, and then he'll lob it over to Alley. Feeds it across the court. Burns, catch and shoots. Swishes on the three-point shot. Algona finding some better shots offensively early in this third quarter. 6 points by Burns, and it's 46-23. Falls down the left corner beneath us. Falls driving down the lane, dealing to Whitner in the corner. He pump fakes and he shuffled the shoes.
Yeah, he did. He a little jump on the start there. Boy, quite a battle underneath there between the big guy, Sanchez Evans.
Yeah, he and Eischen have been going at it when those two are in.
Oh, my goodness. Not a battle position down there. Eischen giving up a little size, but sticking with it.
Burns feeling up for three, no. Off the board, Mansky. He turns around, almost traveled there as he may have gotten away with one. Burns tries another three. Eischen taps the rebound out, and Alley tracks it down for Algona as the Bulldogs have a third opportunity. Drives in right baseline, passes the lane, squeezes by Eischen, falls to the hustle play, dives on top of the ball, and coming off the bench is Coach Trask for Mason City to call 30-second timeout and keep control of the basketball after that hustle play by Jameer Falls.
Yeah, that was nice job. Bulldogs had dodged a couple bullets, missing the shot, but got the rebound back and had second and third opportunities, but they were about to get a fourth, but Falls dove on the floor and grabbed that ball before the Bulldogs could pick it up.
Well, Greg, one thing I noticed defensively there on the last Mason City possession when Whitner ended up traveling with the basketball, you've got to respect his three-point shot from the corner, so you're closing out quickly, but then he can drive by so quickly on the baseline. I do think that's one thing defensively. Your help defense has to get there a little quicker against Whitner when he's out there in the corner, because had he not traveled, he was heading in for another one of those signature dunks.
Yes, because he can elevate, as we saw earlier in the ballgame.
Whitner of 8 points so far today. Yeah, you look at the Riverhawks starting lineup. The scoring numbers 9, 8, 8, 8, and 5. So they're getting points from everyone.
That's pretty good.
Mason City has the basketball as Falls will inbound from the backcourt and gets it into Sanchez Evans up across half court. Bulldogs try to pester him near the sideline. He'll dribble out of trouble, but Eischen poked the ball away from behind, and Mansky runs the floor. Deals to Alley. He elevates, and it's a traveling violation. Falls stripped the ball out anyways, but Alley took an extra step there on the takeoff to turn the basketball over. Bulldogs press here against Mason City. Alley working against Falls off the Whitner inbound pass. Falls will burst past Alley. Alley tried to poke it away from behind, and a late foul gets called as Alley tripped Falls up coming across half court. That is speed on speed right there. Falls working his way around Alley. That'll be the first personal on Alley. First team foul of the quarter by Algona, who currently trails at 46-23. Falls from the backcourt. Gets it into Whitner. Just to the far side of that Bulldog logo. That silhouette at half court. As Whitner, between the circles, deals right wing to Falls. Alley creeps out to play defense. Finds a curling Witt. Witt to the bucket. Ladles it up, but can't get it to drop. As parachuting in for the rebound is Campy. Brings it up the near side of the court. Almost got his pass jumped by Witt. Mansky returns the ball to Campy. His free ball rolls off the cup. And Whitner right there for the rebound. Whitner will take it himself across half court up the far side with 5:19 on the clock in quarter number 3. Whitner pulls up for a tray, and Whitner buries it. 49-23.
Bulldogs had a couple of nice looks. Ooh, here's a long one.
Burns from way downtown off back iron. Rebound batted out by Witt, and he has a ready-made fast break. Witt running the floor. Eischen pursuing. He got fouled, and he put it down. Witt with a chance for a three-point play as Eischen reached into the cookie jar, and it's 51-23 Mason City.
Yeah, this little spurt here again where things are going just exactly wrong for the Bulldogs. Had some nice looks from outside, but only one of the Bulldogs' three-point offerings has fallen in.
Third foul by Eischen. Free throw no good for Witt, who was an 82% foul shooter last year, but can't get that one to drop. And the score stays 51-23. Mason City always looking for steals as Witt steals it again. Runs the floor again. Alley knocked it away from behind, but a foul as Witt goes crashing down to the deck. And two more free throws. Boy, he is playing great defense up top. And he is punishing the Bulldogs for not being more crisp with their passing game.
Well, and it's doubtful that, I don't know. I can't imagine that the Bulldogs are going to see anybody quite as quick on the passing lanes as the Riverhawks are here tonight. But, boy, what a great lesson for the Bulldogs here tonight.
Yeah, you want an introduction to regular season speed. You are getting it tonight.
Oh, boy.
Of course, this is a great preparation for that North Central Conference grind, Greg. As we know, Clear Lake last year, they were the state runners-up, ranked number 1 for a lot of the season. They're going to be back with a ton of talent. Humboldt is always going to be a tough out. And they have a new head coach this year, too, so it'll be interesting to see the way they play. St. Edmund, a 1A state team last season. So there's going to be not very many easy nights in the NCC. So I think you're right. Even though this is going against the Bulldogs' way as far as the score is concerned, this will really get him ready for the grinding NCC schedule. Mansky to the foul line for Algona off the missed free throw by Mason City. Eischen back into Mansky. Zips it over to the corner to Kuhlman. Tries to work by Hobart on the baseline, and Hobart gave him a little hip bump there for the foul. That'll be the first of the quarter on the Riverhawks, as Aishin will inbound from the baseline.
You know, that's been another impressive thing with the Riverhawks, really. As aggressively and quickly as they play in defense, not a lot of fouling.
Inbound to Mansky, working against Whitner. Mansky looking for space, and Whitner ejects that shot as he pinballs it to himself and dribbles behind the back to avoid Aishin, but then the ball got poked away, although they will call a foul there on Mansky on the pursuit, as Whitner did just about everything himself there to take that up ahead and draw the fourth foul by Algona of the quarter. Personal foul number 3 against Mansky. Whitner with 11 points. Witt also with 11 for Mason City. They're 2 lead scorers right now. And Falls will inbound from the far sideline. Falls directs traffic. Inbound pass knocked away by Aishin as he was grappling of Sanchez Evans out near half court. Knocked it out of bounds as the Riverhawks will keep it.
No, Aishin has really been battling with the big guy there, and this time out on the inbounds pass, going to get a break right now.
Yeah, he has brought some really good defensive energy for Algona. Is playing with the 3 fouls as he'll, like you said, go to the bench alongside Mansky and Burns. The 5 right now for Algona: Walker, Engel, Ostwald, Kuhlman, and Alley. Falls looking for someone to come get the basketball. Almost ran out of time there, but got it into Whitner into the backcourt. 4:21 left in the third quarter. Mason City on top, 52-23. Wood on the right wing trying to work by Alley. And we've got a whistle here as there's a little off arm used. They'll say Alley there made contact there with the elbow. Or check that, it was Engel actually away from the ball.
Yep.
That's Engel's first personal foul.
Again, Sanchez Evans really works the position. It's a wide base set, and he is really active with the arms, trying to get post position down there. And Bulldogs have been battling hard.
That is foul 5 of the quarter, so Mason City is in the bonus with Sanchez Evans, the 65% foul shooter, knocking down the free throw.
You know, and he had a 3-pointer back there in the second quarter as well. So the big guy, and he's not real tall. I mean, Mason City's going to play taller teams, certainly.
Yeah, he's just strong underneath there. As the second free throw is no good. Rebound gets batted over to Ostwald as the Bulldogs are down right now, 53-23. Holman is being pestered by 2 defenders near the sideline, but he'll get out of that with a blocking foul against Mason City, their second foul of the quarter.
Yeah, strong with the ball. Nice job by Kuhlman, because, again, they put that double team on. It's easy for a player to panic, make a bad pass out of it, but he stayed strong with the ball, collected the foul.
That is Falls with his second personal foul. 53-23 Mason City. Bulldogs have the ball with Engel at the foul line. Engel trying to get downhill against Sanchez Evans. Deals to the cutting Kuhlman. Kuhlman runner doesn't go down. It swirled 360 around the drain and popped out.
Bulldogs had a lot of those tonight in close. Watch out.
Whitner taking it in. Whitner strong to the rack. Can't get it to drop. Falls is on miss and powers it up and in. Mason City bench flexing there for Whitner, who has 13 points, and it's 55-23. Engel at the foul line, barreling in. Passes out beyond the perimeter to Walker. To the lane, Walker drives and kicks to Alley, left wing. Alley shuffling around of Hobart. Alley drives in under the bucket and throws it away as Falls reels in the interception. Outlets it to Witt. Witt attacks into Engel. Too strong on the shots. Sanchez Evans runs the floor and falls over the 2. 57-23 Mason City as they have 3 players in double figures of Sanchez Evans now at 12. Engel in the high post looks underneath to Walker. Walker reverses, can't get it to drop. Offensive board for Kuhlman, who brings it out to the 3-point arc. Corner pocket tray is up and good for Kuhlman. No hesitation on that one as Kuhlman, 6 points tonight for Algona. 5 points rather tonight for Algona. And it's 57-26 with 2:46 remaining in the third. Falls working the basketball near half court, a behind the back dribble, a step back, a re-acceleration into the lane, and it's going to be a jump ball. Good hands by Ostwald defensively, getting his paw on top of that one.
Yeah, right.
Mason City's going to make another big lineup change here. Lundberg comes back into the ball game, as does Berkeley. You've got Hanson on the floor, joined by Whitner, who was already in, as is Hobart. That's the Mason City 5. Continuing to take advantage of that depth. Ball is inbounded, but it is off the hands of Hanson and taken away by the Bulldogs.
Nice pass.
Quickly, Alley to Engel, draws the foul and put it down. Engel with a chance for a 3-point play as it's 57-26 Riverhawks, but a nice transition possession that time by Algona.
Yeah, it was. Nice angle to the basket that time, and Just a heck of a bounce pass there by Evan Alley. Caught him right in stride going into the basket.
Angle's free throw is deposited into the bucket, and it's 57-29. Bulldogs will pressure a little bit in the backcourt. Haven't been able to do that a ton there, just with not very many made buckets tonight, as Whitner gets across the half-court line. Whitner right at the paint, shovels it to the outside to Lundberg, works it around left to Hobart, wearing the bright orange shoes. Back up top to Whitner, and Whitner shuffled the shoes. As Whitner is getting frustrated with that travel being called, but that has been called all night.
Yeah, I think he did. I think the official's right, but need to watch tape. He's asking the other official, what am I doing?
Washington comes in for Mason City as Hansen goes to the bench. 2:10 remaining in the third quarter of Mason City in control, 57-29. Alley working the left-handed dribble. The Bulldog senior goes between the legs, works around Angle, bumping of Hobart. Nice pass inside. He finds Oswald, who lays it in over his shoulder.
Yeah, a couple of nice assists by Evan Alley. Tough shot by Oswald that time over his head. Nice job.
57-31 Algona. Excellent passing on that possession. 57-31 Mason City, rather, that is. They get the rock up top to Berkeley at the Bulldog logo. He'll pass left to Hobart. And it's another travel by Mason City. They're getting them on that first step before the ball hits the hardwood, and the Bulldogs get it back with 1:35 on the clock. Well, looking back over the years, it's been a while since Mason City's had a 10-win season or a winning season. You've got to go back to the 2016-2017 season when they went 15-8. They haven't had more than 9 wins in a season since then, but they're looking like a team that could contend for that based on what we've seen so far tonight. Here's a nice move inside by Coolman, who scoops it up and in.
That was. Bulldogs 3 possessions in a row, really. Good-looking shot that time. Nice little head fake for Coolman.
Coolman able to shake the defender loose, and it's 57-33. Whitner pivoting, fading, and missing on the shot, but there is a foul on the play as Mason City is in the bonus. Well, this deficit for the Bulldogs was up over 30 a while ago. It's still 57-33, but you see what can happen when the Bulldogs start scoring quickly as they shave off a bit of that deficit. Whitner will shoot a couple more free throws. Mason City's obviously, like we said, going to be playing a tough Class 4A schedule there in the Iowa Alliance, but they look to be a team that can eclipse the levels of the recent seasons, with Whitner knocking down the free throw to make it 58-33. Sanchez Evans will come back in. Rickers, Witt, and Falls all coming in for Mason City as well, as Whitner will stay on the floor for the Riverhawks. Well, when you play as fast as Mason City does, it helps to have a deep bench where you can sub guys in and out and get guys that are fresh and ready to run and test the legs of Algona. Whitner makes both free throws, and it's 59-33 Riverhawks. Whitner will now check out, and Isaac Burr, the 6'3 junior, comes into the ball game. Approaching the final minute of quarter number 3. Algona has the basketball, aiming towards the bucket at the right. Levi Walker passes right to Alley, now back up top to Walker. Works it around to the left to Coolman. Coolman starts the dribble as he is guarded by Witt along the perimeter. Walker now to the right towards Alley. Alley a dribble towards the corner. He shovels it into Angle. Back outside to Walker. Free from right down the barrel, and it's off back iron, no good. Angle tries to deflect the rebound out, diving to the floor, and getting the rebound off the great hustle is Brooks Coolman. Elbow jumper Walker, off the cup, no. The follow is up, and it is a foul on Mason City as Angle made multiple hustle plays that possession, and he'll shoot 2 free throws. That was a scrappy job on the glass there. Angle was on the ground, all of a sudden he was back in the play and drawing the foul. With 31 seconds remaining in the quarter. Angle first free throw, line drives, we get the friendly hometown bounce, and it's 59-34. Mason City still in front.
Bulldogs down for 6 offensive boards here this quarter, so they're really fighting down there.
Second free throw good as well, and it's 59-35. Mason City out quickly, Rickers into the corner to Witt. Witt penetrates into the lane, shot got swallowed up by Brooks Coolman. And Bulldogs can take the last shot if they want it. 19 seconds left in the quarter. Ostwald tried to give and go to Coolman, but it's off his shin and out of bounds.
Yep, right idea. Just caught him at a bad spot there.
Mason City, by the way, I just added it up. They have used 12 different players so far tonight as they have gone deep into that bench. And most of those 12 have made a significant contribution to the ball game. Falls at the edge of the half-court line. Fires up ahead. It's Rickers in the corner. Rickers free ball rattles into the cup. 2 seconds, 1 second. Alley free corner court heave. And that one is off to the left. Look out, cheerleaders, as that shot is no good. Mason City gets a free before the end of the quarter, and the Riverhawks lead at 62-35. We head to the fourth from Algona High School and on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
Where you bank matters. Hi, I'm Sherry Bankin at Security State Bank, and we're relationship bankers. We get to know our customers and understand their financial needs. We're locally owned and operated, which means family, community, and service always comes first. So come to Security State Bank. We'll treat you like family. Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
Hey Bulldog fans, this is Evan Alley. You are listening to Algona Radio.
As we come back for the fourth quarter from Algona High School, the Mason City Riverhawks leading the Algona Bulldogs 62-35 in this Algona season opener. It was much more even third quarter though. Riverhawks had the 20-17 scoring advantage with that final free-point ball pushing them over the top to give them the advantage in the third. Mason City will start off. They'll have Rickers, Witt, Sanchez, Evans, Falls, and Burr on the floor. For Algona, they will counter with Campy, Burns, Kuhlman, Eischen, and Mansky. Bulldogs have the basketball, aiming towards the right as we're underway here in quarter number 4. Algona finally getting the offense going a bit there towards the end of the third quarter with multiple good possessions in the final few minutes. Eischen shovels into the right corner to Kuhlman, back into Eischen. Eischen facing the bucket, missed on the layup though, had a good opportunity. Ball poked out of bounds, last touch by Eischen.
Yeah, tough opportunity there. Again, got the ball underneath the basket, and Eischen spun around and just couldn't get it to kiss off the glass right spot.
Algona will press here against Mason City. Well, towards the end of the third, we saw what could be a strength of this Bulldog team this year. A lot of guys who can create with the basketball in their hands. The pass is thrown 3/4 of the court out to Rickers. Got blocked by Campy, but a foul. That pass went from the baseline all the way to the paint on the other side of the floor, and it'll be Rickers shooting 2 free throw shots.
Personal foul called on Landon Campy, his third.
Well, Rickers on the campaign had a really good game against Gilbert for those 23 points. The leading scorer for Mason City in that one. Now has 9 tonight after draining that first free throw, making it 63-35. But again, if that Bulldog offense, we'll see if they can continue to get it going here in the fourth quarter. But when you can create some space for your ball handlers, and they do have a lot of ball handlers, good things can happen for Algona with the speed that they have as Mansky deals up to Burns. He sidesteps, the defender flies by. Burns' three is too strong, and the rebound is reeled in by Burr. Burr gets the ball poked away by Eischen. Eischen runs the other direction. Eischen against Falls. Falls stripped the ball out, and it hit off of Eischen out of bounds. Oh. What a defensive play that time.
That was tremendous recovery there.
Yeah, good low hands that time by Falls. He didn't try to go up and block the shot of Eischen, which Eischen at 6'3", that would not have worked out too well for Falls, but just the good hands to poke that out and off the body of Eischen. Here's another three-quarter court length pass. It's right into the hands of Witt, who lays it in. Marcel Whitner playing quarterback on that one. Here's a 15-footer the other direction, no good for Kuhlman. The rebound vacuumed in by Witt as it got poked out of his hands by Eischen as he ran the floor. Rolls to the boundary, out of bounds, last touched by Algona. Mason City keeping the pace up here in the fourth with the Riverhawks up by 30, 65-35. 13 points now by Witt to lead the way. Actually, it's 15 by Whitner. Witt second at 13 for the Riverhawks as Whitner works on the baseline right side. Whitner can't keep the pivot foot. Tried to take a big, long pivot there against Mansky, but he drug that back foot for the turnover.
Yeah, solid defense on the baseline that time. Pinned him there, and as he tried to work his way out, he took the extra step.
Campy deals over to the far side to Kuhlman. Kuhlman finds Mansky at the foul line, takes a couple of dribbles and delivers the ball out top to Burns. Works left to Kuhlman, trying to get it back inside to Eischen, but pass intercepted by Witt, who jumped right in front. Witt weaves through traffic and brings the ball to the forecourt.
Really good anticipation by that Riverhawk defense.
Witt continues to be in the middle of everything defensively for Mason City. We've called his name numerous times tonight for intercepted passes. Falls working for the basketball, jitterbugs into the lane, feeds Sanchez Evans, trying to overpower Kuhlman. And we've got a whistle there.
No, there was no whistle, I think. I don't know what that was.
Maybe it was a shoe squeaking on the floor. That sure sounded like a whistle. Some players stopped as well, but the Bulldogs have it now. In the right corner, it's Campy. Pivoting around 360, cross-court feed off the hands of Falls, nearly a turnover. Burns drives baseline, tried to reverse and drew the foul as he got hit across the face on that one. That would have been an acrobatic shot had Burns managed to parlay that into a bucket. They'll shoot 2 instead. Burns last year for the Bulldogs, 75% from the stripe. Averaged 5 points per game, and again, like we talked about in the pregame, he's another guy who's going to be taking a lot more shots this year as the Bulldogs try to fill up those Ben Helmer's points. First free throw good for Burns to make it 65-36. Coleman will take a seat on the pine right now for Algona as Alley's in the ball game. Burns' second free throw, and that one is true as well to make it 65-37. Falls, sees the double team, owning his space and getting into the front court as he'll bounce past to the trailing Evans. Sanchez Evans trying to drive downhill and knocked out of bounds. Bulldogs fought off of Sanchez Evans' leg, but the official did not agree as Mason City will keep the basketball. It'll be Falls to set things in motion from the near side baseline. Alley guarding the inbounds pass. Falls surveying the defense, using all the time that he can and throwing it to Witt into the backcourt. Right into his pocket as he's guarded by Campy. Witt working top of the arc now against Burns. Passes left to Falls, and Mason City will ask for a timeout. With 5:46 on the clock, Coach Trask will take a 60-second timeout for Mason City, as we'll take it as well. 65-37 in favor of the Riverhawks, right here on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com. When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at moneypass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
Mason City 65, Algona 37. Fourth quarter here from Algona High School as the Riverhawks will have the basketball coming out of the timeout. It is Whitner to inbound right now. He'll inbound to the backcourt to Falls, and we are rolling here in quarter number 4. Mason City has led just about the whole way here so far tonight. It was a 21-5 second quarter advantage by the Riverhawks that really blew this game open as Sanchez Evans works in the left corner, barrels towards the lane, and lost the basketball as Mansky has it for Algona. And Mansky was losing control of the ball, trying to bat it off the body of Falls. And Bulldogs are going to turn it over here as I believe they eventually got him for a double dribble there. Awkward looking play. No Bulldogs yet in double figures scoring-wise as Burns leads the way with 8. Falls inbounds the basketball. Here's Witt driving in. Witt with a floater over the top of Eischen as he scores it.
Pretty shot.
Excellent looking shot there as he now has 15 points tonight. Burns fought about 3, passes inside the Eischen instead. Sanchez Evans, good hands, poke the ball out, and Witt comes away with the basketball for Mason City. Turnovers tonight have been an issue for Algona. More so in the first half than the second half, but we've seen the Mason City defense keep the pressure up.
Hey, there you go.
Turnover the other way. Mansky steals it. He wants to dunk it, and Mansky with the soft slam to make it 67-39. That's 8 points now by Mansky with 4:45 left in the fourth quarter. Falls on the right side, out beyond the perimeter for the Riverhawks, working against Mansky. Top of the arc to Whitner, now back to Falls. He's going to shoot from way downtown. Left the free short as it bounces off the glass, and the rebound is collected by Burns. Burns up on the near side of the court. Hands it off to Campy. Sanchez Evans comes over to defend as Campy unloads the ball to Burns. Back to the right to Alley, guarded by Whitner. Alley, a bullet inside to the cutting Mansky. Mansky fading away, too strong off glass. Ball gets batted out of bounds. Last touch by Mason City with 4:16 on the clock.
There's another bullet pass from Evan Alley. As Mansky cut across the lane there, he's really threaded the needle a few times tonight.
Washington and Lundberg check back in for Mason City. Witt and Falls will head to the bench. Here's a 3-point ball by Campy, and that one rims out no good. Ball's batted around, and Whitner tracks on the rebound just inside the boundary. Kept those 2 feet and bounced like an NFL receiver, but now the Bulldogs double team him. Mansky steals it, shovels to Burns, who lays it up and in. Good pestering defense there by Algona. 67-41 Mason City. Rickers coming across half court, working against Eischen. Up the near side, he tries to pass aside to Sanchez Evans, and he was fouled on the pass. If that's on Eischen, that'll be his 4th for the night. It'll be the second team foul by Algona of this quarter, coming with 3:46 left.
Personal foul called on Jackson Eischen.
Riverhawks bring Hansen back into the ballgame, as well as Berkeley. Sanchez Evans and Whitner go to the bench. Mason City hasn't played everyone tonight. I couldn't quite hear what the Mason City student section was chanting, but they were chanting for one of their bench players who has not come in yet. I'm sure one of the guys near the bottom of the bench that they would like to see come in here at the end. Berkeley to inbound from the near sideline, just to the left of the scoring table. Gets the ball into Hansen, inside the lane, and a shot of Lundberg got blocked by the Bulldogs. Alley coming the other direction with 3:38 on the clock. Behind the back dribble, but he lost it as Washington fisted out. And that is a foul call that indeed did bail out Algona to prevent another turnover.
Yeah, tried to go behind his back on the dribble there and lost control of it, but official said partly due to the tap by Berkeley.
Berkeley's first personal foul, second team foul on Mason City with 3:35 left in the 4th quarter. Camping in the right wing, trying to pass around the defender, but he traveled. Tried to take a wide step, but I don't think he kept his pivot foot there, according to the official.
Yeah, must have drugged that pivot foot. I wasn't watching that time to see it, but official was right there.
Ball's inbound to Washington, wearing bright orange shoes for Mason City as he crosses the half-court line. They'll work it into the left corner to Rickers. Rickers drives, he spins towards the left. He got Burns to jump onto his back. He put it in and he drew the foul. And Burns is banged up for Algona as he's a little slow getting up. What a flurry of moves, though, by Owen Rickers. That was a tough landing for Burns, who kind of rolled over the back of Rickers that time and landed on this hardwood right beneath the basket. That is Burns' second personal foul as he comes to his feet. Still shaking off the cobwebs, though, after that one. Rickers cannot finish the 3-point play as Mansky elevates for the missed free throw rebound. He dribbles out of the pack. Mansky rips the pass into the corner to Alley. He'll catch, he'll shoot, he'll leave it short. Rebound batted out, though, by Mansky. Off the leg of Eischen, though, as rebound is collected by Mason City's Leaf Lundberg. 69-41 Riverhawks. Here's a 3-point ball by Rickers, left it short, and Mansky got a position, rebounds off his hands, though, and taken in by Berkeley from Mason City. But a traveling violation, though, by Hansen, who drove it off the pass by Berkeley.
Well, that's been the call of the night. We've seen a lot of traveling violations, both ball games.
Yeah, it's been the one thing that really stopped the Mason City offense tonight, the traveling calls. Other than that, they have been extremely efficient as the pass is stolen by Rickers. He runs the floor, Rickers to the bucket, and he'll set it in. 71-41 Mason City, who continues to steal the ball away from the Bulldogs.
Now, again, if you don't have zip on the pass, they're going to get to it.
Algona's getting set to empty out the bench as Mansky drives in. Can't get the runner to drop. Rebound is batted around to Lundberg, and he'll clear the ball to Washington. Down the floor to Berkeley. Inside it goes to Hansen. Pivots, passes into the corners. Rickers' free ball rims out and rebounded by Campy. He'll out to Eischen. Eischen behind the defense. Catching up and fouling him is Hansen as Eischen will shoot 2 of 2:13 remaining. So both teams will go up a full line change here. Jorge Contreras, the Bulldogs senior. Hayden Lubenfall, Bulldogs sophomore. Jackson Jansen, a Bulldog freshman, all down there by the scoring table right now. Philip Meyer, the 5'10 senior for Algona. One more sub to come as well. But those will be who will be coming in for the Bulldogs here momentarily after the first free throw of Eischen. First one on the way, and that one friendly bounces, it drops home. Logan Alt, the 6'1 sophomore, also checking in for Algona, so that's going to be your Bulldog 5. Mason City will also empty out the bench. Ryan Burr Jeffrey Landergren into the ballgame as well. Will Schissel for Mason City. Isaac Burr into the ballgame too. And Leif Lundberg staying on the floor right now for the Riverhawks. With 2:13 left as the reserves will play this one out. A thorough Mason City win in this one as they're up 71-42. Eicher makes the second free throw shot, and he too will go to the bench, being replaced by Jansen for Algona.
Yeah, real positive here for the Bulldogs. That was the 7th straight free throw made for the Bulldogs. Shot none in the first half, made all 7 in the second.
Well, that is something to work with. You get to the free throw line a little bit more here. The hope for the Bulldogs that becomes a strength. Here's a 3-point ball for Mason City, and that one is good. Landrigan knocks that one down, and the crowd loves it. Their senior off the bench. Here's a steal by the Riverhawks. Schissel runs the floor. Schissel to the rack, and he missed on the layup. Offensive rebound, though, fought for by Lundberg, and a foul by Algona. That was the biggest cheer of the night for either crowd, with Landrigan drilling that 3-point shot to make it 74-43.
Yeah, you know, it's always fun to see kids that go to practice every day, work hard, and maybe get their chance to get a couple minutes on the floor and see some success. And that's nice to have the fans behind him. And
yeah, they were overflowing there onto the floor, almost to the Mason City bench. They were so excited as Lundberg knocks down the free throw to make it 75-43.
Boy, and he did not hesitate either. He had a good open look, and he let her fly. Nothing but net.
Second free throw by Lundberg is short, and the rebound is grappled for by Hayden Lubenfall, and this is going to be a held ball. Possession arrows towards Mason City. Another senior coming in, Parker Millett, the 6'3" senior, into the ballgame for the Riverhawks as Lundberg checks out. 75-43 of 1:46 left. Bulldogs will fall to 0-1 here as the pass enters into Burr. Burr tries to fight up the shot. No, got his own miss, and he got hacked. Burr will shoot 2 with 1:42 left as it appeared Lubenfall swung down onto his arm. That is the 5th foul on Algona, but it was an active shooting anyways as Reed Anderson gets ready to check in for Mason City. Boy, they have a big roster, Greg. I mean, even when this game was still up in the air, they were using 10, 11, 12 different players. Plus all these guys they brought in off the end, or at the end off the bench. As Anderson checks in, he'll replace Burr. Isaac Burr to the bench. Ryan Burr shooting the second free throw.
No.
And
staying on the line, was he? Yeah.
Yeah, he was on the line there on the free throw shot, so it isn't going to count.
Too
and
bad.
It's 75-43. Algona basketball right now. Alt working on the right wing. Alt explodes towards the bucket, and he got that ball stripped out of his hands by Schissel. Bulldogs get it back, though. Pass goes into the lane as Contreras will bring it back out and reset the offense for Algona with 1:28 left. Contreras works around towards the right. He barrels to the bucket, and he draws the foul. He said, "I'll do it myself," and he'll shoot 2 free throws. Not a lot of seniors on this Bulldog team, and some of them coming off the bench. A few more, obviously, than last year with Ben Helmers, but Contreras and Meyer, both seniors, getting time here at the end. As Contreras will shoot 2 free throws. Bulldogs are not going to play their next game on the boys' side until Saturday when they take on Charles City. That Friday game against Iowa Falls Alden is a girls-only contest. As Contreras, no good on the first free throw shot. And I would invite everyone to tune in here on the radio and on the video stream as well for Saturday, because it always seems to come down to the end. We have seen some wild finishes over the years between Algona and Charles City as Contreras misses the second one. Alt rips away the rebound, though, goes back up the shot, and it bounces off to the right, no good. I'll have to look up the stat again, but the last 4 or 5 matchups between Algona and Charles City have all come down to 5 points or less, and a couple of them have gone to overtime. As we're down to 107 in this one. Mason City in control, 75-43, as there's a foul on the right side whistled against Alt, who's guarding Mellett on the drive. Mason City is in the bonus as they will continue to shoot free throws.
Personal foul called on Logan Alt, his first.
First personal foul here for the Bulldogs.
Malott at the line shooting 2.
Malott shooting 2 as he will bank at the foul shot. Counts either way. Mason City, meanwhile, they're going to get into their next matchup coming up on Friday night, taking on Des Moines Hoover. Second free throw is on the way, and that one deflects, no good. Rebound is tracked down, though. 3-point ball by Malott, no good. Another offensive board by Burr, but he loses it out of bounds. as he briefly had command of that rebound. And the Bulldogs get it back with 56 seconds remaining. 76-43 Mason City. Coming out of this Thanksgiving holiday as Meyer loses control of the dribble. Picked back up though by Algona's Lubenfall. Here's a free-point ball by Meyer off to the right, no good. The follow is up and no good by Lubenfall. Got his own miss back. Lubenfall fighting in there for the two as he sets it in to make it 76-45. Shot clock and game clock about even. Mason City for the rock right now. Shizzle, who brings it out towards the half-court logo. Dribble handoff here to Burr. Here's a three-point ball on the way by Malott. Deadens off the rim and almost went down. Boy, that would have gotten the Mason City crowd to explode again as the Bulldogs go the other way. Here's a Meyer three-point try. Can't bank it in. Rebound deflected around and Burr grabs the rebound. Mason City's backups want more. Here's Anderson driving in. Anderson dealing. Malott, no good. And with 4 seconds left, Bulldogs will grab the basketball and they will wave the white flag here. A thorough victory by Mason City as they spoil Algona's season-opening game. 76-45, the final score of this one, as the Riverhawks even their record at 1-1. They send the Bulldogs to a season-opening loss. We'll step aside for a timeout. We'll get some final stats after this here on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
We've got more sports club members bringing you this broadcast.
Camco Tires, they're all you need to know about tires and service.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
Reeb's Wicked Good Bar and Grill. For wicked good food, drinks, and service, you've got to go to Reeb's.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Sway City, and the surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy services.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
West Bend 4.